are listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Well, hello there, you cute little gamers, and welcome back to the most wholesome, family-friendly show the internet has ever fucking seen. I'm your host, Ryan, the Raging Rimjob Machine, and with me is Natalie, the Nasty Naked Necrophiliac, and Jeff, the Mad Board Gamer.
Hey!
We've got a very respectably clean and moral show lined up for you today, laced with illicitly manufactured fentanyl and other completely harmless synthetic opioids. You'll just be jittering with excitement and maybe a bit of mouth foam after you listen to the show that's now just 10 away from the second most historic episodic achievement a board gaming podcast can attain. Number 1 being 69, of course. And boy, do we have absolutely nothing planned for that. What you can expect, however, is that we will take it as seriously as we take everything else we do, insert fart noise. And so it's definitely an event you'll want to share with everyone. Have a listening party. Invite your in-laws, grandparents, the local church, impressionable children, really anyone who will be uplifted or educated or healthily poisoned by what we have to say. So, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm pissed at Natalie.
Good. I've been waiting for this moment. You guys are too fucking cute all the time. Every time I come in, babe, hey, babe, you have this? How you feeling, babe? We just love each other so much, so let's hear it.
Don't worry, there's plenty of.
I want to hear the beginning of the downfall.
Yeah, this is the beginning.
You don't see all our moodiness.
Usually it's not directed this way. You know, plenty of times Natalie's angry with me. It's not often where I'm angry with Natalie. Yeah. Right? Usually I'm, yes, dear. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, honey. But this time, I'm angry. We don't often have issues in our relationship, as Jeff just pointed out, babe. But when we do, they're always in dreams. And this one is no different.
Sure.
The other night I woke up fucking angry with Natalie because of a dream that was like all too real. Has that ever happened to you where you've had like this really realistic dream that someone you know or love was in it and they did something bad, and then you wake up and you're just mad at them even though they did nothing wrong?
Yes, it happens to Devin a lot. She'll wake up and be like, so you broke up with me in my dream? Yeah. Something like that. I'm like... Yeah. Sorry.
I didn't know.
Because
it's funny. Your brain did that to you. Right? Devin is the one that made you break up with her in her dream. But you're cast as the main villain, as your loved one. So anyway, that pisses you. Does that piss you off? Yeah. Anyway, so that happens a lot. Well, it happened to me the other night, and I still don't really quite forgive her.
Okay.
All right, here's the setting. I'm at a party.
You're laying in bed. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's the actual setting.
That's what she's actually at. I'm at a party. Natalie isn't even there initially. It's like a wedding reception, but it wasn't a wedding reception in my brain. But that's the type of party it is. Like it's like in a hall, and there's like tons of these like circular tables with 12 chairs. People are just wandering around and dancing and having a good time. Sure. So for some reason, I decided to go outside. Only going outside is now the middle of the forest.
Makes sense.
Okay, absolutely. And there's like 50 people standing out there looking away from me at the sun or something, like cultish like that. And one of them is Natalie. And I'm just like, hey, you want to go inside and find somewhere to kiss?
Kiss.
And she's like,
kiss?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. So we go back inside, but we're not in the hall anymore. But it's still in our brains, or my brain at least, it's still the same party. But now we're in this like hallway of an apartment building going to this room.
Yep, still makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Kind of.
And we walk into the bedroom, and there's a couple in bed. And they're in a sleeping bag that has Pennywise from It on it.
Oh, not in it.
No, like Pennywise
so
is like big, like fat-headed on the sleeping bag.
And they're in the space that you wanted to kiss.
And they're in the room. They're on the bed, and we're in their bedroom with them. And that's where we wanted to. Yeah. So, but that doesn't deter me at all. I'm just like, okay, this seems good.
Okay. Yeah, that's
like you ready to kiss? But before we do, Natalie spots the sleeping bag, and I start singing this weird song like, "We're gonna kiss right in the lips, and this creepy clown is gonna see all of it." And then the man sleeping sits up and starts to like take offense to me calling the clown on his sleeping bag creepy. He's like in his mid-50s, by the way. So anyway, I look at him.
Someone you don't recognize this person.
No, he's just a random person. Yeah, he's just this random guy.
Oh, so they weren't kissing. They were sleeping in the sleeping bag. They were sleeping.
Okay. We walked into this. It's like a darkened room, like someone's room. Just someone's room. Yep. But in my head, we're at this party.
We're at the party.
And so we walk in the room, and I see them sleeping there, and I'm like, oh, there's a sleeping bag with Pennywise. And I'm just like, let's kiss now.
Yeah, it's time to kiss.
And then and we were about to, and Natalie was even fine with it until she spotted Pennywise. I sing the song. Yeah. The guy kind of like sits up like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what? Why is he creepy, basically? Mm-hmm. So, again, he's in his like mid-50s. So anyway, I look at him and I'm like, no, man. I was just being silly. It's funny, though, isn't it? That all these kids want to be Indiana Jones, who like runs from huge boulders, falls in pits with snakes, and like deals with disgusting bugs. But all kids have to do to not be afraid of Pennywise is just be like, nah, I'm not going to go into that sewer with you.
Yeah.
And so he starts laughing. Like, oh yeah, Yeah, good call. Oh my God. And then Natalie starts laughing. And then there's like hundreds of people. The whole party's in the room with me and they're laughing, carrying me around, slapping me a high five. Natalie kisses me with such like purpose and passion as if I had just cleaned the entire house while she was at her sister's. And then all of a sudden we're walking out of the room. People are cheering. I'm feeling like $1 million. I turn to Natalie, who's still laughing, wiping away tears from her eyes. And I'm like, I think that could be a joke I use in like a stand-up routine. What do you think? And she looks at me and just goes, no. And I instantly get pissed and then immediately wake up angry.
Natalie, why did you do that?
You liar.
Dream of being
You liar. I had
dream
this
of being a stand-up comedian is crushed.
It was one of those dreams that seemed so real. I mean, I can still remember it vividly, which does not happen. It doesn't happen that often. Where like I can still see the dream right now. Usually I wake up and the dream's gone after a few seconds.
Fades, yeah.
And I get like little snippets or something, but I can remember it now. Anyway, fuck what you say. I'm taking the Pennywise Indiana Jones joke on the road.
Yeah.
And that shit's gonna laugh.
I never
Watch
said
out for
that.
that Netflix
by the way.
special by Ryan James.
I got one joke. I got one joke.
It's 8 seconds.
That Natalie fucking hates.
Everybody will be laughing, and Natalie's in the front row, straight face. That
made
joke
me
was
say
dumb.
that.
Boo.
Get new material.
Boo.
I heard that in the dream.
Get a new wife. Oh man, why'd you do that to me?
I didn't do it.
It was cruel. My
did
brain did it to you. So what? Okay, that you're right though. Most of that dream was standard dream fare.
Yeah.
I'm in this place that's not really this
But then
place.
Natalie disrespected you at the end.
she was
in front of hundreds of
she
people
was laughing
in a bedroom.
so loudly and crying. She kissed me in the dream. When she kissed me, it was like, oh my God, I must have you. That joke was so great. You know. And then afterwards, she's like, oh God, you can't tell that to anyone else. Are you kidding me?
Natalie.
I just wanted to put my lips on your lips. So what's up with you guys?
Natalie, what do you got? You got anything?
Come on, Natalie, you got something.
What kind of dreams you been having?
I don't really remember most of my dreams. Yeah, what's going on?
See any good dreams
busy
lately?
Things. Lexi's been in a Newsies play. She's playing softball. We've just been busy doing kids
Okay,
stuff.
wait a minute. You just said softball.
I want to ask about the
in.
Newsies thing. Has she seen the movie? Like,
Yes.
has she
Hundreds of times.
Okay, so
she like knew all the
she's in
songs
it.
already.
It's like her favorite
basically.
thing. That was basically the reason she wanted
Nathan,
to be in it.
who's the...
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is.
Who the hell am I thinking of?
Nathan Fillion. That's
No.
a guy.
That's
He's
a guy?
a thing. I think he's a thing.
I'm looking through something.
Nathan.
Continue.
You want me to talk about softball
I do.
game?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Well, Lexi is really good at softball.
She's 8.
and
She's 8.
She's 8 years old, second grade, and
But she hates it.
She hates
She
it.
does not want to play at all. But she's like the best on the team.
Yeah, she's like the best one on the team, and she was very excited for her last game because she got to pitch for the first time, and that made her really excited. So she was actually looking forward to it instead of being like, "Oh, I don't want to go to the game." Anyways, so this game, in the first inning, she pitches and she does amazing.
Incredible. Yeah,
like-
she pitched a shutout. No, a no-hit. No, a perfect inning.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No walks.
Yeah,
No walks.
and we were
No
very
H.
Was it the
proud of
perfect,
her.
perfect
P.
inning? 3 strikeouts?
No. So she... Okay, so here's what happened. So she's in the league that she's in is coach pitch.
Right.
If the pitcher gets 3 balls...
The pitcher sucks enough. The coach
Right,
has to
the
come
coach
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
in, and
Most
then they
of
have
them do.
5.
Yeah, they also.
Right, they have 5. Yeah, so 99.9% of every pitcher in this league, they're just little girls, so they don't really know what pitch. The coach is just like, go up and throw it over the plate. Just go up and throw it over the plate, and they always miss.
They
always
basically
mess
say,
up.
like, play
but
catch with the
ump
catcher.
still has to call it if it's good or bad. He can't just be like, well, that was pretty good, so I'll give you a strike. He has to call it like it is, right?
Yeah.
So that results in 99.9% of their pitches being balls. And so then every time the coach comes in, and that's how most all the girls, including Lexi, hit the ball. They only usually hit off the coach.
Right.
But so Lexi gets up there. Go ahead.
Oh.
I'm just
For you,
reading you.
Natalie.
Weren't you talking about Lexi? Okay, fine. I'll continue. So Lexi gets up there,
Natalie's
and
going
she
down. She
just
fell asleep.
throws strike, 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 strike. Like she's just fucking throwing strikes like crazy. And then there was a couple. She threw a couple balls and got to 3 like once or twice. But both times the coach came out, the girl already had 2 strikes on her. Which typically...
So then the coach struck her out.
Yeah, so then the coach struck her out. Right.
Yeah.
But so typically...
That stat stealing
Yeah,
bastard.
yeah. She comes and throws overhand. No, but she... So typically the girls don't swing ever at the kid. They never swing. The coaches are... It's, just statistically, don't swing, So the girls don't swing. Lexi's just fucking throwing strikes. So they come
so
out.
they
Now
just
the girl
stand
only
there.
has 2... She's already got 2 strikes on her. When the coach comes out, only 1 shot, and they struck out. And Lexi struck out one of the girls. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Yeah. And also in that same game, the team we were playing, it was we were down 6-3.
Put some theater into this when you tell the story.
Oh my god!
Give it some gravitas.
You want
and
to
some
just tell
drama.
it?
No. I want to hear you do it,
No,
but I want you to
you
emote.
do it.
2
Fucking
outs.
emote for once in your goddamn life.
Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
say that to me.
Lexi takes the bat,
There we go.
hits her cleats,
They were down
just like
6-3.
you.
walks
doing?
up, stare down the pitcher.
Thump hits the plate as her bat strikes it.
The crowd grows silent.
Exactly.
Not that theatrical.
Do it.
No, you do it.
No, I want you.
How about be the complete opposite of theatrical and just say exactly what happened?
Robotic.
So-
Robotically.
No, they were down 6-3, and these games when that happens, like there's not a lot of scoring. Even somebody scoring 6 is like a lot. Like the last couple games have ended in like ties that were
Right.
like
1-1,
2-2 or
2-2.
1-1. Yeah. And so we were down, and we were like, well, we lost this game. And then
Did you say what the score was?
I
time?
said it like 3 times.
6-3.
And then
6-3.
it was the last
Just told you.
inning.
Just said.
And our team was up at bat. We had 2 outs, and the bases were loaded.
Loaded.
And Lexi went up to bat, and she had 2 strikes.
Boom.
And on her last chance, she hit the ball into the outfield,
Yep.
which never happens. Coming like the oldest kids on this team are in 2nd grade, so like
Yeah.
they don't really hit it very far
Right.
when
It's
they
the
hit
equivalent of like hitting it out of an entire stadium.
Yeah,
in
right,
regular
exactly.
baseball.
Yeah,
Right.
they hit it what's funny is the girls in the outfield, they don't get action.
They usually aren't
ever.
paying
They
attention
just
'cause nothing
stand
ever
there 'cause nothing
happens.
ever happens. So
Yeah.
the ball finally comes and they're just like,
Oh, I'm
like I gotta do
yeah,
something.
yeah, it's happening. So anyway, she hits it in the outfield. She runs to first base. The girls like are throwing it. I don't know. The people in the outfield like they're struggling to get it, and they're throwing it into infield, and nobody's actually like
they have no
really
practice.
playing or picking up the ball. And so basically,
Well, they're just
long
watching
story
all of our
short,
girls run around the
Lexi
bases.
gets a grand slam. We get 4 runs and win the game by 1
Yep.
run because of Lexi.
Yep.
And it
Way
was
to
like
go,
the
Lexi.
we were all going insane.
I heard some guy screaming like from my house.
Yeah.
There was somebody just screaming. Like,
that was me.
Lexi told
Oh, it was me.
Ryan
That was
the other
me.
day.
Ryan.
Yeah, that's me.
Lexi told Ryan the other day that one of the girls on her team was like, "Your dad's kind of weird," because
Yeah.
he's always screaming.
All he does
all
is
the
scream.
time.
Yeah, he's just screaming and cheering. I was like, oh, thank you.
And
Yeah, that's true. Totally true.
He's like, "I'm okay with that. That's a compliment."
yeah, I take it as a compliment.
But it was like really, really
was so
exciting,
freaking
especially for
sweet.
like a game with little girls like this. You know, it was something that like
fun.
you would have thought would
Yeah.
ever have happened. And
Something else about her
she
softball.
did
Oh,
it.
yeah, she did. It was so great.
so cool.
So, like I said, she fucking hates it. She hates softball so much. But they do these cheers that we like. They're like really funny cheers. I don't know if you know any of like the old like softball cheers.
they still happen in adult like softball.
Do they?
And like college softball.
yeah.
Like the
and-
same kinds of cheers. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's stuff. So I wrote one for the show, and I think
my
we should
God.
chant. I think we should chant this before recording every episode. And Here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. Turn on the radio and listen to the news. We're the only show that you all should choose. I set the jokes up and Jeff knocks them down. But when Natalie speaks, we both bow down. We gotta fuck them, discuss them. That's our custom. Gamecasters. Oh, we do it like every show. You did?
I need it written down.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm not
That
gonna
is, like,
remember
one of
that, but I
those
like
cheers.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were in my head just then.
we're gonna win and you're gonna
Yep.
lose.
Yep. When you're up, you're up. When
And
you're down, you're down.
down.
When you're messing with us, you're
you're
upside down.
upside
Or they'll be like,
Not one,
hey
not
pitcher,
two.
hey pitcher, I really like your shoes. I really like your shoes. But my friend Lexi is gonna knock them off of you. It's so
What point is
funny.
that? Just taunting.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that too. I'm like, some of them are mean.
They are kind of
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they're
they're
like,
the latest one that they've been singing.
right. Hey bitch, lose some
No.
weight. Why don't you lose some
No,
weight?
Yeah.
Because
it goes.
you!
you're only 8.
Fuck
Go
you.
lose some weight.
I hate you. You're ugly. You are ugly.
I can smell you from here.
The latest one, they're like, I'm pumped up, you're pumped up, yeah. I'm fired
Yeah.
up, you're fired up, yeah. But every time it sounds like they're saying, I'm fucked up, you're fucked up, yeah.
Yeah. I'm fucked up. You're fucked up. Yeah. All that shit that we drank. Yeah. Yeah. It's really funny. Okay. So we're going to do that chant before every show.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you got, man? What's going on?
School year's winding down. That's all I can think about.
Finally.
We're getting there.
That's exciting.
It's just been a interesting, tough, everything sort of year.
Well, yeah, because you're like back to normal, but not
Not
because the last
really.
couple of years were not normal. So now
Yeah.
this is also
So-
not
and there's
normal
still
again.
COVID
It's not.
existing throughout the year.
Yeah, it's not normal. You know, you're in and out of masks, in and out of online schooling. You're working with students who are years behind where they should be. And it's just because I'm thinking about my ninth graders right now. Their last normal year of school was 6th grade.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Because 6th grade was normal. 7th grade, they got
So almost
cut in
all
half.
of middle school.
8th grade, they were online. And now all of a sudden they're in 9th
Thrown
grade.
into high school.
And
they're
you
like,
can tell. Can you tell that they're very behind?
Yeah.
Because they're remote.
Yeah, and all that does is just change my job a little bit, right? It's not like I'm just teaching over their head and like, well, catch up, right?
Right now we can't play games online anymore while you're working.
Yeah, you actually got to work hard.
Jerks. So I think everybody is excited to just kind of wind this year down and restart next year, hopefully with some more, things are getting back to normal, hopefully a little more normal even, because we didn't really get to do like a lot of pep rallies. We didn't really get to do like big group things because we couldn't at the beginning of the year. So hopefully things change next year. So I'm excited. Devin is actually going back to work next week
Oh shit!
from maternity leave.
That's
Right.
great.
So
It's
she's
for,
going to
like,
go
a
back
couple
for like a
weeks.
couple weeks, which will be fine. It's also the nice few weeks at the end of the year. Her kids are really excited for her to come back.
Awesome.
And
cute.
we just have to figure out how, because right now in the morning, I basically just have to get my oldest
ready to
Jack
go.
ready and take him to my mom's. But now it's going to be the two of us getting ready and then having to get the two of them to a place, two of them to my mom. So it's like we're going to have to figure that little juggle out in the morning. But
Right, because now she has a place to go too.
yeah. So we'll figure it out. We're watching The Flight Attendant on HBO.
Okay, Natalie's
yep, I watched
finished that
that.
one.
I
So-
or is it not finished?
I didn't
yet?
watch the latest one.
Yeah, it's not finished yet.
No,
Okay,
it comes out weekly.
Yeah, it's a weekly
I
one.
see.
But if you like the first season, I think you'd like this
Yeah,
one.
I
It
think
feels
so,
very,
too.
very similar.
It does feel similar.
It's cool. It's also a great reason to watch
Kaylee
what's her
Cuoco?
face?
Yeah,
Kaylee
Cuoco.
Cuoco.
Yep.
And she's
Super hot, I know.
But you've seen her in like 8 Simple Rules and Big
Yep.
Bang Theory.
Yep.
She's a good actress in
Really?
the show.
Is she really?
I think she plays
I would
this
never have
actress
thought of
really
her
well.
like that. That's good to hear.
It's kind of this.
she's kind of
She's
an
thrown into
alcoholic.
these sort of. Yeah, she's thrown into these crazy scenarios, but she's this kind of normal person, right?
Yeah, she's not
so
just
she
the
like
hot one.
overreacts to things and like doesn't really know what to exactly do and all. It's not like a cop show where the cop knows exactly what. Like she kind of like goes off the rails, but she's also like this alcoholic, struggling, trying to like get sober,
Right. And her life is turned upside down and she's just kind of like struggling to deal with it.
How many nude scenes are there though? Would you say?
At least a dozen an episode. That'd be
Really?
nice, wouldn't it?
No.
Yeah, no, there's none. Zero.
I don't know if you've ever
But
seen
I don't know.
it.
I'm watching it, and I believe her in the.
Doesn't it?
At least it does.
I believed him
doesn't.
so. I was like, yeah. Why am I not
It's
watching
like a 38-minute show. There's 12
just
naked scenes in each episode. Yeah, we're at episode 6. There's
know.
6. There's been 60.
It's like a rule in Decorum. You have to have 12 naked episodes of Kaylee Cuoco. I believed you so.
It's like when I believed you when you said you cleaned the toilet.
Yeah, I've never.
What do you think about
Come
that?
on, clean a toilet.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I don't know if, and maybe I'm alone, but I believe her in this role.
Yeah.
As, like, as she's acting, which is cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
She's stepping out of maybe that just like,
Yeah, I'm the
I
hot
get to
girl.
be the hot girl
Right.
in the show.
Right.
So,
And she's like not like a ditzy girl. She's just like a
right.
Like a
regular
normal
person.
Jeff kind of mentioned she's just normal. She's like a
Yeah.
normal person.
Yeah, so I think it's good. So we're going to kind of burn through that. We finished Ozark. I'm glad that it came to an end.
It was a decent ending.
I just started it this week. I think I've only seen 2 episodes so far.
In a world where no one's happy with endings, how did you feel about this ending?
It was fine. Again, it's like it's a moment of the entire show. I think there's a couple big moments that either upset people or make people go like, "Whoa!" during that
Yeah.
season. The last part of the last season, I think there was a couple episodes that were like slow, and I was like, "Let's
How many
go."
episodes are there?
7. So 7 in
Okay,
that
so
one.
I've watched 2.
And
I'm pretty sure.
but the entire story arc was good. Like I liked the whole thing. It's one of those shows where they all would be dead. Like if this was the real
Yeah.
world and they were
Oh,
acting like
yeah.
that, they would all be dead.
Absolutely.
Right? But they're the same thing with Handmaid's Tale, right? June would be
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah,
She would have been
for
dead in
sure.
the first episode.
Yeah,
it's kinda
but
like
that's
that.
one
You
of
have
the
to make
most
the
far-fetched
show,
things
right?
about
Right,
that
but
show.
you're
I
the
feel like 'cause
main
we're like,
character.
how is they like cut these people's tongues out and hang them on the wall for like nothing, and
Yeah.
June gets to live all
Yeah.
this time with
One
nothing
second later,
around
that
her?
person just got killed for the exact thing. For some
Yeah,
reason, you don't.
you're alive.
But
Exactly.
Everyone hates
it's
you.
TV, right?
Everyone
Right, you
hates
can't
you,
kill off
but
the
you're
main
alive.
you can't kill out the main
Yeah.
character. That would be a terrible
Right, that'd be
show.
Game of Thrones.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna cruise through that. We finished the basketball show. What's Winning Time?
Winning
yeah.
time.
That was awesome.
We have to go through. We still have to get through that.
And I guess we're trying to find our next.
Well,
hook
listen to
show.
this. Did you watch The Staircase on Netflix?
Okay.
We started watching The
Do
Staircase
I want
on
to watch
HBO.
the recreation of it?
No,
Okay.
You don't?
I've seen The Staircase.
I
We've
don't
listened to
think so.
podcasts about it.
Okay.
I don't know.
if I'm Jeff, I'm saying I don't.
Yeah,
I
do
don't
I
think.
wanna watch the
I don't think
acted
he.
version
I
of
don't
it?
think he
Pretty
does.
good.
Okay.
It's
Do
all
you know
right.
who's in it?
No.
Colin Firth is the main guy, and dude, he sounds
He's
identical
just
to him. Like you'll hear him talk, and you're just like, oh my,
That's not even what I was going to say. I was
like
going to say Sansa.
Yeah, Sansa Stark.
Oh, really?
She's one of like the
Very-
homely.
okay.
daughters.
She's very homely.
I didn't even like
Homely
realize it was
daughters.
her. I was like,
She's one of the homely daughters.
Like a homely daughter.
She is.
But,
no, I don't know if it's something I'd recommend to people who have seen the Staircase
Is it only
documentary.
like 4 or 5? Is it 4 episodes? 4 or 5?
we didn't watch all
No,
of it
we
yet.
haven't. We've only seen 2.
Every
so far.
episode
I
we
think it's
watched,
longer than
I
that.
feel like this is going on forever. But I
This
also
is the
find
owl,
it interesting.
right? This is the same thing. The owl that everyone thinks.
Right. This is
Yeah.
that
At the end of
story.
it,
This
right?
is that story. So
Can't be spoilers because it already happened. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
I think they actually investigate it, or they talk about it in the show.
Reading
not-
the
in the
Because they
acted show,
didn't.
in the
do-
one that
they
you're
didn't.
watching.
Yeah,
the
they
acted
didn't.
one?
They didn't put it in the documentary.
Yeah.
Just it was like a snippet at the end of the documentary.
Right.
Yeah,
that was
and
only-
I've read a lot about it. The reason the documenteurs, is that what they call, didn't put the owl theory in the documentary is because it was never presented as evidence in court.
Right.
And so they were like, we don't want to put stuff in there.
Yeah, because then it's more one sided.
Yeah.
And the reason why it wasn't evidence in court is because it came up so late.
it was like the day
They
before
couldn't put
closing
together-
arguments or something.
And it's
Yeah.
like, how do you bring up to supposedly 12 people of a jury and be like, listen,
I think
a fucking owl.
I think an owl did it, though.
this.
An owl did. You'd be like,
Okay.
So unbelievable.
And
We would
that's
like to
what
break and
but
go to
see,
jail.
that's what I was like at first too. So, okay, if people don't know the Staircase, I'm just going to tell you the premise because you're probably like, what the hell are these guys talking about? There's this guy, and he's married to this woman, and one day they're alone at their house, and she is found by him at the bottom of their family house staircase. I mean, covered in blood. Like, she is so bloody. It was like someone just like
bludgeoned her and then threw her
slashed
down
her
all over
with
the
a sword
wall
100
on
times.
her.
It's
She's, like,
everywhere.
basically
However,
barely
it's all
breathing.
head wounds. But however, her skull isn't fractured. But there's still blood everywhere. She's got all these weird lacerations on her head. And so he calls 911 and is like, oh my God, my wife is at the bottom. Like, I don't know what's going on. She's not breathing. Come rescue her or whatever. And then they come and, they're like,
course they arrest
okay,
him,
this is
yeah.
a crime scene. Well, because when you say this person fell down the stairs, you expect someone's they break their neck. There's no blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
You wouldn't think,
blood
or
to
maybe
be
a very
everywhere.
minimal amount. But this scene is like bloody as fuck, right? So they arrest him because it's now a crime scene and he's the only one home with her. So they think, okay, he probably did it, right? And nobody still knows by the way, right now, even right now, if he did it or not. It's one of those like making a murderer
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
But so they kind of like peer into his life now and say like, okay, did he do this? And so the documentary shows from his perspective and his side of things mostly.
Yeah.
His life and his family, and they all seem extremely normal. There seems like
going
there
to the court
really
and they're
wasn't
talking to lawyers.
motives, but then
Yeah.
there might have been with this other
Yeah.
thing that like kind of came out in his private life. If he didn't do it, this poor fucking guy, right?
Oh
if he
my
did it,
God.
okay,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it all seems really weird. However, nothing really makes sense with them explaining how she died. Nothing makes sense. They can't find a murder weapon. It's weird that she's at the bottom of the staircase. There's only blood from the bottom of the staircase up to like the 5th stair. So if she fell down, why isn't there blood everywhere else? And like I said, her skull's not fractured, but her head is fucked up. And there's these like triangular shaped like wounds on her head that they eventually determine is made by this like blowpoke from a fireplace.
Yeah.
And like he like hit her with it and like shredded her head up. And that's how he kind of got
Yeah.
like convicted or whatever. But then what they didn't tell you really in the documentary, and it's all these theories online, is at the crime scene, they found these microscopic, they weren't quite microscopic, they're very, very small feathers in her head and one in her hand. Like attached to this little twig. And so that's weird. And so all these people have come to find out that they think what happened is she got entangled somehow with an owl. An owl, which is, and this has happened.
'Cause
There's
they
all
were-
these reported cases of owls
I believe they
attacking
were. She
people.
was outside.
Yeah, they were outside at the
walking
They were out by the
inside.
pool,
They were outside
and
the
then
pool.
she was like, "I'm gonna go to bed," and he was like, "I'm gonna stay out here for a while." But when he went back in, eventually,
Yeah.
he
So
found her.
This owl chased her
So
inside. She
the
went
thought
to
was
run.
like, somehow the owl got like in her hair, and she's like, oh god, like freaking out, and
Yeah.
she's grabbing the owl to pull it off of her, and then that made these triangular things. The owl's talons are what made these triangular cuts in her head,
Yeah.
right? Which then she's like, now she's losing blood because and she's a little drunk, so she's kind of like stupering around, and then slips and falls, bleeds out. And she's screaming his name, but their property's so huge because he's like a famous writer or something.
Yeah.
And so he's at the other end of the property in the
he can't
pool,
hear that.
and he can't hear it. And they even tested that. Like they
Right.
put like a tape recorder of someone screaming in the staircase, and then went to where he said he was in the pool, and you can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So That sounds incredibly outlandish and ridiculous, though, to learn at the very end.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
And to present that as an argument and to...
Well, and you also find out that earlier in his life, he also knew another woman who died
Fell down
mysteriously
the
at the bottom of the staircase.
Right,
So,
like in the 80s.
Weird.
and again, if that is a coincidence, then this poor fucking guy is just like, oh my god, of course.
All right.
Yeah,
you know?
so there's that. The documentary is great.
It's so
It's called The
good.
Staircase.
It's called
That's
The
on-
Staircase.
That's on HBO.
Yes.
Is The Staircase on
And
HBO?
the
or
Staircase
Netflix?
show is
thought it was
on
on Netflix.
Netflix.
Maybe The Staircase. Maybe the documentary's
or
on
Amazon
Documentary's
Prime.
on Netflix. I think
Yeah, the
the
documentary's on
Find it.
the
It's cool. If you like true
show,
crime.
show's
the
on
actors
HBO Max.
is on HBO.
HBO Max, yeah, HBO for the show with the actors, and it's good. If you haven't seen the documentary, it's a good show because they, the documentary is the real people; they're not actors
Right.
or anything. This show has like Colin Firth in it, and the chick that plays Sansa Stark, and like people,
There's a
real
lot of
actors.
people.
There's
Toni
a ton of
Collette
people.
is in it, and there's a bunch.
Yeah,
of,
there's
like,
a lot of
famous
actors,
people.
and it's good. I don't think you need to watch it unless you were like so excited about, like, if you really liked
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah.
But we're enjoying it. It's not too bad.
Cool.
I thought we saw a movie.
Yeah, can I talk about this?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
Yesterday.
I do want to talk about this.
All right.
We saw a movie. I've seen it twice now. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
Okay.
I had never heard of it.
This might be the most insane movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen Meet the Feebles. All right. I was talking about it on the Discord, and I'll reiterate a mini conversation I was having with Plurpy to describe the movie. So here's what I said. I said there were moments where I was completely blown away, moments where I was completely lost, moments where I was in hysterics and surprise with the Cards Against Humanity level shock value, moments where I was in deep existential crisis, moments where I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool, moments where I wanted to cry, and moments where I was like, oh, this is so wholesome and sweet, all in one movie. And then Plurpy says, it's almost like you felt everything all at once. Which is great. He's hilarious. Anyway, so I've never seen a movie like this before, and I'm very certain I'll never see a movie like this again. So let me give you the quickest of quick rundowns
It's insane.
about what the hell this is about without spoiling anything. So the movie is centered around this Chinese family, a mom and dad and a daughter, and they own a laundromat that's really maybe not doing so well. They're being audited by the IRS. Jamie Lee Curtis is the auditor, which is really fun. They live in this tiny apartment directly above it and are just living very meagerly and kind of struggling. Well, at some point we find out that there are an infinite number of multiverses, or like alternate dimensions or alternate realities. And there's this like super powerful being who experiences them all at the same time, and so can freely move between them, and is currently looking for the mom of this family. This version of her infinite versions is apparently the special one who has the power to defeat this super powerful being, and is now being called on to do so. And from there, chaos, amazement, horror, ridiculousness, sadness, excitement, etc. ensues. The movie has to be seen, I think, to understood, and even then you may not really understand it. It's one of those movies where I could see if someone doesn't like it, but I could never see someone walking out and saying something like, well, that was just derivative nonsense, or like, man, that was boring.
Yeah.
Because this movie will have you wide-eyed with your mouth open most of the entire time with the craziness of it. It's a movie I would definitely not recommend to anyone. I don't think if you're on a first date or something and you know nothing about each other that you should go see this movie, because there's a chance he or she just bolts away halfway through and thinks you're a freak. Like I also said in the Discord, it's pretty similar to the Gamecasters. We know we're not for everyone, but to the right person, we can be the best podcast you've ever heard. And this movie is just like that. To the right person, I'm confident this has potential to be the greatest movie that's ever been created. I've seen it twice now, and I don't know that I'd go that far yet, but I think mostly because of how outrageous and unlike anything else I've ever seen it is. It's hard to contextualize the movie or like put it in a box with all the other movies I've seen because it's really incomparable.
Agreed.
Right? Nothing you've seen before can prepare you for what the movie is. It's just... Well, I won't say any more, but if any of what I'm saying is intriguing to you, go see it before it leaves the theaters. If you're open to new ideas, new ways of experiencing cinema, you might think there's nothing better than this. If you're expecting a Marvel movie, you're going to what the fuck yourself into a stupor and might judge the person who brought you to see it harshly. So I don't know exactly where I land on it yet, but I feel like all other movies I've seen, I would put in like one box, and this has created like its own box and lives alone as both the best and worst of its type I've ever seen.
It's cool.
It's truly one. It's truly one of a
It's
kind.
getting good like reviews too. It's not
Yeah.
like it's just from you.
Well,
Yeah,
so
for
the
sure.
dad in it is Data.
Data from the Goonies.
And he
I see
sounds
that.
exactly the same as when he was a kid.
Yeah, the second you hear his voice, that's what I said.
I'm
I
like,
was
oh,
watching
that's
it and I was
Data.
like,
Dr.
that's Data
Jones.
from the Goonies.
It
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
the same.
I was like, I
and
think that's Data
then
from
the
the Goonies.
daughter is
That's
the
great.
I don't think you haven't seen Maisel.
Do you watch
right?
Maisel?
I don't think he watches Maisel.
I know Maisel. Yeah, I know that.
So
I
have
know
you seen the
um,
second season?
No.
The daughter
She's in the
in
first-
the movie
Or I mean, like the latest.
Is a pretty main character in
She's
Marvelous
like the
Mrs.
Chinese
Maisel.
girl in
Right.
Maisel
This movie is
with Joel.
Natalie, give us a quick thought from you. Because I was very intrigued. There's people out there that I know that I could recommend this to, and they'd be like, "Oh my god." There's also people that I know that would be like, "No,
I hate you.
No fucking
Yeah.
way." And then I was like, "What about Natalie though?" Natalie kind of
Natalie?
lives in both worlds.
Uh-oh.
You know, she's like capable of like handling this kind
She,
of
like,
like
loves you
nerdy kind
and
of
hates
stuff.
you.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's how I look at it. She's like kind of like she's kind of a freak because she married me, but at the same time she's also a normal.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this movie, Natalie?
Well, I still don't really know. Like he asked me yesterday after the movie, and I was like, I can't pinpoint anything I didn't like about it, but I also can't pinpoint anything I liked about it. It was just like basically like it was an experience.
Have you seen it twice?
No.
I saw it the first time by myself, and then I was like, "You need to come see this with me. Like, we got to see this together. I need to know what you think."
I mean, it was definitely entertaining nonstop the whole time. There was a lot of things happening. I don't even know. Like you said, it's so different than anything I've ever seen. It's hard to, like, how do you say it's good? Because usually when something's good, you're like comparing it to other things.
Yeah, you can't compare this to anything. What the hell is this like?
I also like don't know how to say it's good because like almost it's hard, like it doesn't make sense what I'm saying, I feel like, because like you should know if you enjoyed something. Did you feel joy when you watched it?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
I was just kind of like, what? Like you said, like, that's funny. What is happening? What? Like, You know, it was just like, and then it was over and you're just like, okay.
All right. I felt the same way.
Like, I wasn't like, I didn't
first
like
time.
that. And I definitely wasn't like that. But I wasn't like, I loved that. I was kind of like,
But did you run through the gamut of emotion that I ran through? Because there was every moment of the movie was a different experience for me. There were like I wasn't just like, Like there was times I was like, oh my god, and then there was times I was like, what is happening? And then there was times I was like, this is incredible. Like this is like it was like blowing my mind a couple times. Like
I don't
what
think my
is this?
emotions
Like what
were
is
as,
happening?
Like, swingy as yours. I think I was more
Like
level.
confused.
I wasn't really
even? You were more
necessarily
even?
confused.
Yeah, it's not necessarily hard to follow a storyline. It's just there's parts, dude.
Like I
I
didn't
want
get
you
like
to see it so
emotional.
badly.
Really, I mean, I laughed during a lot of parts.
It
And
seems cool. I think I would like it, or at least enjoy like the experience.
You
like
will.
You
I think you will. It's just
Again,
crazy.
it's not a movie that you would ever
Don't
be
go
like,
into it being
this
like-
needs to stop. I'm done with it. It's
Right.
like you're like, what is happening until the end?
and it's like, and it's not.
I know you don't want
I
to
don't
give
even
anything
wanna
away.
Say, like,
you can't
there's
say
not
anything.
slow parts
Just go
because
see
then
it.
there's
Okay.
like the one part where you're just like but then the rest of it's like you know, and you're just like, oh my
I
God.
need what I need is I need someone to just like cut out all the things that Natalie just did while explaining
together.
this. Yeah, the what? Yeah,
And I think also,
just like
I think
in, like, a
she
song.
should
That's a
start
good
doing board game
explanation of the
reviews in
movie.
sounds.
I'm with that.
What'd you think of Decorum?
I think that was a very good
It was apt.
synopsis of the
Agreed.
movie.
Sometimes, other times,
Yeah.
other times, what?
That complete, like, if you know, you know. That explains it.
Yeah, right. It's a movie. Again, I can't recommend it to everyone, but I also at the same time think every single person should at least see it. If you came to me and you were like, I don't know why you told me to see that. That was the worst thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I can see people being like, that was so stupid.
I could see that, but I also think you should probably see it at one point in your life because it's
Fair.
again, like I said, it's like nothing else I've
Right.
ever seen, and I'm pretty confident in saying it's probably
Right.
I will never see anything like it again.
And it literally does have everything everywhere all at once.
All at once.
It really
it does.
does.
Dude. It does.
It's like so the name of the movie.
There's
So
like,
that's that. You know what we also do on this show? We play board games.
what? I don't
Yeah,
think so.
we do. We do.
we do.
Jeff, have you played any of those?
Yep.
Do you want to speak about one of
No.
them?
Yes.
Just in sounds.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about do another one. Okay, this is gonna be.
I feel like Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah. That's Chimera Station. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that Chimera
Yeah, that's
Station?
Chimera
I knew it.
Station.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of Chimera Station?
No.
You mean
Let's talk about it. It was my game night pick a few weeks ago, and I wanted to play this.
you have
So,
been excited about this for a long
Eternity.
time.
2017.
Eternity.
But Eternity. When did this game come out?
Was it
17 or
Kickstarter?
19? No. Nope. This is an older game, older-ish, and relative speaking. of
TMG,
course,
I
in the
think,
game.
yeah?
This is a TMG game. If you remember TMG, Poor TMG.
Yeah,
They're out of business
they don't
now.
exist anymore.
I wrote some things down about TMG.
Oh, okay.
I need to understand how TMG fucked this up.
Yeah, with the games they got.
If you understand, like if you worked at TMG or I need to know how they messed this up. They have 18 games in the top 1,000 on Board Game Geek.
That's
Oh,
good.
wow.
Including
That's a
games
lot.
like Orleans, Homesteaders, Yokohama, At the Gates of Liang, Gugong, Belfort, Scoville, Gold West, to name a few.
Yeah. It reminds me of Toys R Us.
How do you mess that up?
Like, what? You're out of business? You just sell toys.
And I guess none of those games are maybe like the evergreen game,
I don't know. Orleans
Maybe.
gets a lot of love.
but come on. And Yokohama's in the top
Yeah, people
50
love
or
that.
60,
People
right? There
like
might maybe
Scoville.
100, but
I'm gonna
like
look at
still, like
Orleans.
two of those games are in the top 100 that people, that's some of their favorite games.
Orleans is 31.
Right,
Yeah,
I was
Orleans has
listening
a
to the
bunch of
snobs. They both
expansions and
like
stuff.
Yokohama's amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't
What
know
about
if it had-
Homesteaders?
I know Homesteaders is one of my favorites.
That's one of Jeff's favorite games.
And I don't know if they just came
Belfort.
out with Gugong.
I think.
really?
Yeah, Belfort.
Belfort is. Yeah, that was
one
on
of
my-
my favorites.
Gugong, they just came out with that cool big velvety box.
Beautiful.
So I don't know if they just tried to like pimp out their games too much. They've
Somehow
somebody
mismanaged
somewhere
Maybe they just mismanaged. Yeah, it's something
screwed
in the
something
business
up with that
part.
company.
The
So
MM to the M.
most of those games are now gone, right? Are essentially out of print.
Gugong.
Some of them have been bought by other companies, right? So Orleans is still being made. You can still buy a new copy of Orleans from Capstone. I don't know if any of these other games.
Capstone sells
Yeah,
them?
and I think they've put either the 5th player expansion or something just directly in the base box to kind of switch things up.
Very cool.
like them.
Switch it
but
up.
these other games, they're just gone. Like, is anyone going to be able to buy Scoville anymore or
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gold West?
I
Some of
guess
these
not
games
until
that
the
are
licensing
like-
rights get transferred over.
Yes,
or
they
whatever.
they messed something up. But I have been wanting Chimera Station for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember.
It caught my attention, and I was
Wow.
like, I'll get it eventually. And then boom, it went on it. They just closed and shut their doors like Bill Naps. You just showed up. You just
That
show
was
up,
the
and
that was one
door
of the greatest
locked,
days of my
right?
life. I was like,
Yeah.
I can go play video games
You
all
just
day.
show up and the door's
Sweet.
locked, and you're like,
Yep,
okay.
Guess I can't
So,
work today.
thankfully, Miniature Market had a bunch of their TMG stuff, and I don't know if when companies go out of business, they're probably not allowed to just jack the prices up on things. I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's some sort of
Yeah, they still have to
relationship
sell
there.
it by retail
So
prices.
they basically took their TMG games and they just went on super sale and they sold all their deluxe copies and all their TMG stuff in this TMG sale. So I bought a deluxe copy,
Ooh.
deluxeified.
You
They kind of
got to
were
tell us the difference between the two.
So the deluxeified copies of all of these TMG games usually come with some sort of like metal coins or
Right,
dual layered
upgraded
stuff or
components
just
somehow.
upgraded components, right? They were, again, I'm probably going to misspeak, but they were one of the first ones to do these like deluxeified Kickstarters. Where you had the regular game or you can buy the deluxeified. And now I feel like they're everywhere. Maybe they're not the first, but when I think of deluxeified, I always think of them sort of like coining that term in their
Interesting.
in
I
their
wonder.
Kickstarters. So go back and look because I have the Homesteaders one that's like.
I mean, they
totally pimped
definitely
out.
were on Kickstarter early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they used Kickstarter. Are you sure Chimera Station wasn't a Kickstarter game?
It was. It absolutely
Oh,
was.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they had the regular and the deluxeified. So you
Gotcha.
could get either one. And
Gotcha.
I just never backed it and I never picked it up because I always thought it would just be around and it wasn't. So anyway, I got it. So it was like borderline a like Grail game for me almost that I just
Yeah.
kind of wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Chimera Station is, and if you've never seen it, it's got a cute little cover. It's got like aliens on the cover. They have like different body parts.
Yeah.
It's a worker placement game. Players take the role of alien factions running, commanding some space station, right?
like
If you
that.
care about the thing, right?
I do.
And I guess at some point, I don't know if you're in the same one or you're just trying to be the best station runner,
Okay.
whatever. So, like most worker placement game, players are taking turns placing alien workers to do stuff. So your workers, instead of being meeples, are these aliens that sort of snap together.
What do you
which is kinda
start with?
neat. You start with 2 or 3 aliens, depending on how many players you
With
have.
like random parts.
No, they're just empty.
Oh, I see.
They're just like they're just generic
can't
standard
do anything.
workers.
How do you
But-
spell
Yep.
Chimera?
Chimera, I think.
I bet if you, are you looking up the cover?
Yeah.
I bet you've seen
CHI?
it somewhere. CH.
Oh, that is
CH.
not how I thought you would spell it. Okay.
I know.
Didn't I just
It
spell
looks
it for
like chimera.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I don't think I've ever seen this.
oh really?
It's a
Man,
cartoon.
it's
been
I
around.
feel like I just stared at it all. I went to REW and I would just stare at it all
Right.
the time.
I remember one time we were at GOB together and you were like, "Oh, they have Chimera Station." I was like, "I know."
Buy it.
Yeah.
And then I did.
Yeah.
Then I did.
Eventually.
Fast forward
Took
to
me
the
a while.
future.
I'll bet anything for this.
You get a bunch of resources. Just like any worker placement game you played, you take your worker, you put it out there, you get something.
Right.
Okay. Most of the actions are get resources, and then there's this one action that is build a new building, essentially, which again is nothing unique about it because now the worker spaces are just expanding. Now you have more places. So I go to a space, I pay a couple bucks, I build a new spot that now anybody can go to.
Right.
Think of every other game you've played.
Yeah.
Now, what makes this game, this is all generic, right? Until this point, what makes this game unique is that you can customize your workers throughout the game. So the little aliens that you have can be unsnapped and pieces can be snapped onto that worker to make it have different abilities or bonuses. So you literally,
That's pretty
some of the
cool.
spaces you go to, you buy pieces of a new worker and you click them onto your worker.
Why has no one else done that?
I have no
that's a
idea.
really good idea.
I know.
That's the first thing I was like, I need this. Like,
Yeah,
this
that looks
seems
cool.
So cool.
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
everybody likes, and by everybody I mean me. I like
You're everybody.
I like personal
Everywhere.
player powers, right?
Right.
That's
the greatest
like
thing
a
ever.
variation of
Right.
personal player.
Control
My
Totally
your
worker
own
can be totally
powerful
different.
yeah, however you want it.
Yeah, but see, I like that because it's different than just having a player power. You get to craft
Yes.
your
Custom-made
each one.
And that's just
worker
Right.
kind of
that
thing.
just drew me in.
Right,
I was
a
like,
CMW.
yes. So there's like a couple different types. There's claws that basically allow you, because this is a worker placement
To
game.
get Inspector Gadget.
Yep. These claws let you knock other people out of spots, which is kind of cool
Okay.
because you block spaces like
Yep.
a standard worker placement. There's tentacles that give you extra resources because they grab extra resources when you go to the spot. There are leaves which feed themselves because you have to feed your workers. And then there are brains that give you extra points. So all these things are snapped on. Your alien gets really tall or short, or you can spend some of these pieces to get points or to get
Can
other
you
things.
rearrange them after you snap them together?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay,
then
cool.
there's a spot that you go to, like a station that you go to, that you then can craft or build your worker. And so the game begins with sort of the lame worker placement areas, and then by the fifth round, it has that feeling of like what's going to happen, and then
Yeah.
people are building more spaces. Your workers are getting cooler. Eventually, you're going to start getting more workers, right? Everybody always wants to get those workers right
Yep.
away, so you can get up to 2 more, and the faster you can get those. So again, the first round goes by, and you're like, well, I got nothing done, and I'm 25% of the way done. But it builds up. It has that cool build up, and you get a bunch of points for a whole bunch of stuff. There's like these perk cards that you get that give you points, and 5 rounds, and it's over. All right.
That's quick.
Yes. For all of my excitement, I was a little let down.
Okay.
I think I had
Too high of
too
expectations.
high
Well, if it's a Grail game,
expectations.
that happened to me with Gingopolis. I felt the same way.
Yeah. So, and I've talked to a few people since, and I think they've changed my expectations a little bit. So, Chimera Station, a little bit of a letdown. I loved the idea of the customizable workers and being able to change them and what your workers could do. And I do think that part of the game worked well. I think it's also could be a nightmare of a play testing for you have 40 different buildings, you have 5 different types of aliens that you can attach to make them do different things. How does that then work when I have this combination of alien with that combination
the balance
of building?
doesn't work right.
I don't know. Again, this is one play. Is the balance there? Does it seem? Should I care about that? I had numerous people message
I've heard
me and
things
go,
about that, too.
Don't worry about that. Don't think about that. So I went in
No.
taking it seriously. Like this is supposed to be a serious worker placement game for me, and maybe it's not.
Can you play a worker placement game that's imbalanced that you don't care about?
Maybe
Because isn't it
maybe
still
the fun
a strategy
is creating,
game? It's
yeah,
not
maybe
like
the
a
fun is
chaotic
supposed
thing,
to be
right?
creating these things and finding some of these silly combinations or
Yeah.
these bonus actions that you can do. But that's not what I expected. I expected, like, I want these customizable workers. Yes, the artwork is cute. Your aliens are cute. But I maybe wanted a little more of, like, a meat of a game.
Yeah, I get
A couple
that.
more. So the building tiles, I thought that was great. I like, and it happens in so many games, I like building your own worker placement spaces. So the
Yeah, that
board
is
is just
cool.
full of hexes and you put them out there. So there's great stuff with, I want to build this building, I put it on a spot on the board, I get a bonus for building it, and then I can immediately put my worker there and get that. So you can create some really cool combos there. I liked that. I like that in most all games. But it seemed like even just within the buildings, there were some inconsistencies of like, this building's the same as this building. Why is this 2 points? Why is this 3 points? Or why does this cost 2? That seemed strange to me. And so I wanted them to be maybe a little more dynamic. And then a lot of them came out and it was like, okay, nothing's giving us technology. Nothing's giving us something. Are they even in there? And And that could be, that might have been in this person's brain of like, that's a future expansion for this game, but you can't bank on that because now your company's out of business and you won't be able to upgrade that sort of thing. So my biggest annoyance with the game is the iconography is fucking terrible.
Like, how do you mean?
Like, there are inconsistencies on the tile that this symbol means that you can take a body part from your player board and spend it to do something, and then the exact same symbol on a different things means you spend it from the guy that you put it on.
No.
And it's annoying, and it led to us having to look at the rules
every
too
time.
much
I feel like
because you're like, oh yeah, I can spend it there, and then you go, oh no.
Every time you see that symbol, you have to recheck.
And whether or not like you can message me and be like, well, they're not exactly the same symbol. They're close enough that you should have made something different. Someone should have gone through
the ability to be confused is high.
The rule book is not great. It led to some frustrating moments. I talked about like kind of the points maybe not necessarily being like equal, but that could be a first play and could be just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I took the game a little too seriously while I was playing. People have said it creates some good like silly moments and combos, and I wasn't necessarily expecting some of that in that game.
You were expecting a well-balanced...
There was a moment where Bill played a tile, then allowed him to activate an adjacent tile, which then allowed him to build another tile, and he built it next to that one, which then allowed him to build an adjacent.
It again.
And it was like, he built 4 tiles in one turn, and it was like,
is that really
was that
intended?
just our fault by playing it like that? Was that the intention of it? And
that seems broken.
It seemed annoying.
Was even he like?
He was like, "Can I?"
He's like,
"Can I just do this again?" Because when he did it, I think he was anticipating just building the 2.
And it doesn't say like activate the tile once and that's it.
Right. And if it did, the rule book is just bad enough where it was hard to find.
Didn't explain it.
Overall, little underwhelmed. There are some things that if I decide to play this game again, because at this point it's
you
a collector's
get rid
item.
Of it. Oh,
right?
I see.
Because
so you're going to keep it.
I'll keep it because it's out of print, and we'll see
if it skyrockets in price.
Yeah, maybe something to hold on to. But they do have like individual player powers that I would like to try to maybe like change the game up. Maybe I don't have to go for workers. Maybe I don't build buildings. I don't know how those then incorporate into my strategy. So I would like to maybe play maybe just at 2. Maybe Devin and I will play it at 2 and see how the player powers work to sort of maybe get me more excited about it with different expectations of like, all right, let's just go in, have fun, create these aliens, move them around, but don't expect that you're going to have this heavy strategy sort of thing play out over the entire game.
Right.
Which I think I did and was a little let down in that sense. But like, the art is cute. The aliens are cool. The idea of the customizable workers is so awesome. And that part by itself worked well. Like you can create this super cool alien guy that can kick people out, that can also get extra resources. That in those moments, that felt really cool. Of like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to be able to get $6 instead of just $3 because I can use this guy or I can kick somebody out. Or now I have a card that lets me kick my own guy out. So now I can kick my own guy out and move him and get another down, right? So there were some fun things that you could do there. I felt like it just needed to be like tightened up. There was
it wasn't ready to be released.
Yeah, there was like some loose edges. So I see the critiques from it. I see the fun. I would like to at some point try it again, but in reality, maybe
I know. I mean, like
again.
how many
I know.
you got? It's going to move to the back of the line probably right now.
Yeah,
I feel like games like that, if you don't play them immediately afterward, it's for me anyway. It's like it's not going to see the table.
I would need
for
to
a long time.
and especially sometimes I'm getting like it's getting closer to Gen Con. It's getting closer to like getting some review games in, and now it's just going to get. Because the last few weeks I've picked, I'm like, I don't have a lot of review games too. I can pick one of my games,
right? Right.
And then that's gonna maybe get pushed to the back of the bus. But
because I mean, you're gonna see that in a month, and like right now, you kind of have that like, well, let me try it again with a different expectations. In a month, you're gonna be like, I remember not liking that. Yeah, I don't want to play that again.
Right.
Or just be like, should I just trade it? Maybe I'll get something else.
Yeah,
but So that's Chimera Station. If you love it, I totally get it because there were some really fun, cool, silly moments in it, and I just had different expectations,
right.
I think.
Chimera Station. The reason TMG went out of business.
That's it. They had all these other great games. Thanks a lot.
Dang it. Good job, Chimera Station.
Seriously, if you worked at TMG or you know more because you've read, tell me what they did because they fucked something up because they are loaded with games.
Just not money anymore, I guess.
No money.
That's a bummer. We ran out of money, sorry. The recipe it takes to get me excited about gaming again has shrunk a little bit over the last year or so. Before, all it took was some cardboard and a giant mixing pot, and I could gourmandize for months on end with no additional spices needed. Lately, though, my palate has narrowed. It's like I've been desensitized to everything, and it like takes crazier and crazier stuff to get me there, like tentacle porn. But so lighter games are seeing the table with much more regularity than heavier fare. And if you add in a doodash of cooperative play, that will really get the ball rolling. We've been in love with Paint the Roses lately, which is a lighter cooperative deduction game we talked about last episode in the underwater monologues. And so on my Twitch stream, right after that last episode, I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. EST. I asked the chat if they knew of any other cooperative deduction games for me and Natalie to nosh. Well, Joe of the Instagram account Bored to Play recommended this new game, Decorum. I looked it up, yepped it into my cart, and pressed purchase faster than Natalie could begin typing.
Ooh, got you.
It showed up, and Jeff, let me tell you, we've played it 15 times now.
Oh my
That's like
gosh.
close to adding to your H index in 2 weeks.
I know, it is. It's insane.
That is a crazy for us. We don't do that.
Now,
No.
and how many sittings, I would like to ask?
4?
Okay.
Yeah,
So you racked it
I
a few
think.
times. So
Yeah.
it has...
Yeah, you usually play around
We
3.
should play
Because
three
that's
or
like when
so.
you do like Codenames Duet, right? You sit down, you play
Yeah,
it
you
5
play it
times.
until you
Yeah.
win. Yeah, so
Sure.
this game
Okay.
does have a little bit of that in it. But we did the same thing with Paint the Roses. We
Oh my
probably
gosh.
played Paint the
I
Roses
almost
10 or 11
was gonna
times.
ask if you want
Yeah.
to like give an update because like when we talked about it last time, we played it the once before the show. Since then, we played it like every day at lunch for like a week
Cool.
and a half.
It's so good.
Good.
Yeah,
It is so,
and there's like so
two-player.
much
Oh.
more to it now.
It's
but
I'm blown away by
Yeah.
that game. That's a
It's
fantastic game. So anyway, but Decorum. In Decorum, you're working with the other players to furnish a house, filling it with lamps, knickknacks, wall hangings, and putting a fresh coat of paint in each room. There's 3 different types of objects that come in 4 different colors and also 4 different styles. At the beginning of each game, each player gets a card with a number of rules that state this is how the house must be furnished according to you. Everyone has one, and they're all different. One of my rules might say the bathroom must have only green objects in it. And Natalie's might say the bottom floor of the house must contain each style at least once. And so you're then taking actions to either place objects in the house, remove objects from the house, or switch out objects with other objects. After each action, your teammate tells you what you just did to them and how good it is. They can't tell you exact information, but they can say something that lets you know that it's either good, bad, or neutral. So let's say, for example, you place a red object in the bathroom on your turn, and one of my rules says the bathroom can only contain green objects. So after you place that red tile, I might say something like, ew, that's hideous. I don't like that, which lets you know that it basically doesn't work with one of my rules.
Ew.
Ew. Yeah, you Devin, ew it.
Ew.
So you have a certain amount of turns with which to get everyone's rules in congruence, and if you're all satisfied, you win and move on to the next scenario. In the 2-player game, which it seems the game was primarily designed for, which is perfect for us, there are 20 missions, each in an envelope, and the envelope has a card for each player and a little story. And they're always really funny and slightly ridiculous.
they are funny.
But they give a tiny bit of narrative to the game, which helps make it feel slightly less abstract, because it's really abstract. In the 3 and 4-player game, which we just tried today, those also come with their own envelope system. In the 2-player game, there's 2 hidden envelopes to discover at scenario 12 and 15, so you don't open these until you get to scenarios 12 and 15 respectively, which I won't spoil for you, but I do love that kind of stuff
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest draws for me to games like The Initiative. Okay, so things I liked. This game has a lot that I like about it. For starters, it feels very reminiscent of a game called Mental Blocks that we've discussed on the show before. That game is very similar, where each player has a rule that the main puzzle has to abide by, and once the puzzle satisfies everyone's rule at the same time, you win. If you make it in the time limit, that is. The difference here is that Mental Blocks handles a lot of players and has this perspective component. Decorum is just how you are placing the object tiles into the house. The deluxe version, which we have, comes with acrylic tiles for the objects, and there's really no other way I'd rather play the game after you play it with the acrylic tiles. The cardboard tiles are probably fine, but man, that added this tactile component that really elevates my desire to want to play this, as they just look fantastic and feel fantastic.
Time out. Are they not... So is this like in a deluxe
This is
edition,
the
or
deluxe version of it. Floodgate has a regular version that I believe just comes with cardboard tokens instead of these acrylic tiles. Yeah,
I want
agreed.
the tiles.
Right, gotta have the tiles. The envelope system is also really exciting, as you just never know what's coming up next. There are 22 player scenarios in the box, and I was worried that after we go through them that we'd just be done with the game. But luckily, there's an app coming from Floodgate that's going to keep the game replayable. It's not out yet that I'm aware of, but it is coming soon.
Well done, Floodgate.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. I think it will probably extend the life of the 2-player game and the 3-4-player games, because there's only a select number of scenarios. And then if you're playing with the same group, you can't play them over again, right? You just
right,
yeah,
right,
because you know.
Yeah, because you know. So things I don't like. There isn't much I don't like, but there is one thing that kind of has me thinking a little bit. So we've played this 14 times 2 players, and every play we're not so much figuring out what the other player's rules are, so much as we are just trying to do everything we can to make sure our own rules work. And so that sort of feels a little bit lackluster, I think. It's supposed to be like a deduction and figuring out hidden information, but it doesn't really do that. There's been a few times where we're like, okay, it seems like you might have this rule. And there's a rule in the game where if you get so far and you haven't won, you each reveal one of your rules to each other, which is cool and all, but it's not as fun as like figuring it out on your own. The thing is, though, it's almost impossible to do that, to figure out your opponent's rules. 1, because you're so focused on figuring out how to make all of your rules fit. And 2, the different types of rules are usually things you would never guess. Like, it's not all just as simple as, okay, red and green objects have to be upstairs. But sometimes it's really complicated. Like, the middle spot in the bathroom must be empty. And if it's not empty, it must have a yellow lamp. And if the lamp is there, then the room must be painted red. But if not, it can be any color. Like, there are stuff that it gets
up.
like that.
Like, it starts simple.
So you could never but you could never figure that out. There's no way. So there's, like I said, almost zero chance to deduce that kind of thing. Is your own, most of your own mental prowess is just trying to figure out how to make your own card work. The few times we have figured out one of the other's rules, it made the game so much fun, though. So now, as we have like more information to get our rules to line up, and that just isn't quite as fun when you're told the rule. It's much better when you figure it out on your own. That just doesn't happen quite enough. Mental blocks, I think, handles this better. For instance, because there's only a certain amount of constraints each player has, and every time a block is placed, everyone is speaking up at the same time about why it doesn't work for them, and so it's easy to kind of collect information more, I think, before your next placement, which kind of happens like simultaneously. Overall, I have really been enjoying my time with Decorum. There aren't enough games like this and mental blocks out there, and so it really feels fresh and like interesting. I'm very happy to keep going, as the hidden envelopes are super cool, and it's pretty fun to try to manipulate the puzzle to how it works best for you, while also understanding that it needs to work best for everyone. The tagline for this game is a game of passive-aggressive cohabitation. And that's pretty funny, because it can get extremely frustrating and seem like there's no way to make this work, because everything you do just fucks up your teammates' rules and sets you back. We started playing the 3-player game, and I thought very quickly we were going to get it in the first like 5 to 6 turns.
Yeah, because right away, at least 2 of us almost every turn were like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fulfilled.
And then it was like,
one of us, though, was like, no. And then I'd switch something, and that would fuck them up. And it's like, now we got to figure this out. Mm-hmm. And so I like that. I really do like that. And I would recommend this to couples looking for a fun date night game. For a similar experience in a larger group setting, though, I would very much recommend Mental Blocks. If we go clockwise, Natalie, what did you think?
I know that it's only kind of campaigny for the 2-player games, but I think this might be the very first campaign type game we will actually finish.
Agreed.
We always have high hopes and it never works out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like this game. I like this. I definitely like this more than Mental Blocks personally. I do like Mental Blocks, but I like this better. I like the puzzle of making the rules work and trying to figure out Ryan's rules. Even though you mostly can, it doesn't really bother me that I can't.
Okay.
I don't mind that. I think it's just fun, like, because there's been a lot of games where like I will be fulfilled early on, and then Ryan's just trying to figure it out. So when those types of situations happen, I'm not like trying to like focus so much on like figuring out how to make all my rules work, because most of them are, or then he might like mess it up a little bit, but I can like easily like usually be flexible and work around it. So like when that gives me like the time and mental space to like try to figure out some of his stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's
try to,
true.
like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you can also, I guess you can glean a little bit. So you don't necessarily figure their rules out, but I guess you can glean information.
Right, I'm like, well, he did this.
Well, he did that, so
like
he
this.
obviously wants that to be there,
right?
For some reason.
Exactly.
So I guess that's true. That's a good way to look at it.
In the 2-player game, I like the little stories and the
those are funny.
cohabitants that are in there. We both like read each other's little blurbs and it's really funny. And I like, I mean, we've only played the 3-player game once, but so I'm mostly talking about the 2-player. But I also like how it started off really kind of, the rules started off kind of like simple, you know, and then they kind of build up and get a little more complicated, and that makes it less boring. You know, it's not all the same when they do that.
Yeah, that's a very good observation.
Sometimes we'll pick them up and we'll be like, oh my gosh, this is impossible. How are we ever going to do this? And then like, we're like, oh, we did it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it does. It happens almost every time. We look at our cards, we're like, oh, no fucking way.
Right.
Like that one I read is basically one in there where it's like, nothing, the middle one has to be empty, but if it's not empty, it can only contain this color. And if it doesn't contain that color, then the room has to be, and we're like, oh my God, that's just one of your 5 rules. Sometimes you're reading it and you're like, do I even understand this? Yeah.
And then you're like, this is impossible. And then you're like, oh, we did it.
It kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so like, that's kind of fun. The only thing that I'm like worried, well, okay, first of all, and we played the 3-player game too, and I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
Makes me so happy
liked it.
because we're clearly going to get through the 2-player portion. I know you said that
Quickly.
the app will,
I hope so.
we'll have more scenarios, which is awesome because we mostly are going to play 2-player. But I'm glad to know that we could like keep this around for like groups too, and know that it's still really fun. And even though like the 3-player game we just played was clearly probably one of like the
it was the one they
easier
suggest
scenarios,
to start with,
and it was still not that easy. So I liked that. I don't want it to be too easy because I was like, oh, we've played this a bunch, it's going to be too easy. No, it wasn't. It was a whole different dynamic with 3 players.
I mean, this isn't a game you can really
like
get
that.
good at, you know,
Yeah.
in that way.
Right.
You could get good at maybe reading the other person. Like now we kind of said, like if you do something, in the last game that meant that.
Well,
but again, that's
I
just
more
part of
thought
the
It's
game.
hard
It's part
because
of the
they
fun.
changed the rule. Like it's not
Yeah.
like in a game like Cryptid, where Cryptid is like you're going to only see these different things. You know what I mean? This game, it's not like that. It's like
there's like infinite possibilities.
yeah, it seems like there's like so many different things that you could
Yeah, it's
never.
like, how do
Well,
they
the
do that in
reason
4
that I
rooms and 4
thought-
colors?
yeah,
The reason I thought it might be easier for us is I was like, oh well, we're gonna pick up the other people's
cues,
like
placement cues.
no,
The requirements.
their
cues,
requirements
yeah.
easy because we've seen them all, but that was not the case.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought.
Right.
Why I thought it would be like easier for us, but it wasn't, which I was very happy about. The only thing, okay, first of all, with the acrylic tiles, you have to peel this little film off the top of them, and which I had to do, and it's very annoying
And challenging,
and
too.
challenging to like get them off. It took me a
Better
while,
you
but
than me.
luckily that was just one time thing. Now it's done. Who cares? But that was kind of annoying. And then
Well, that's noteworthy, though. I think that's a good thing to note.
yeah, and then I had another thing that I was worried about, but I can't remember what it is at this
Spiders.
moment.
You are worried about spiders.
You do
Who
not like
cares?
snakes
Because
either.
in general, I really, really like this game a lot.
Awesome. And
Deductive,
she just like
deduction,
slammed the
know.
notebook down.
You heard that.
deduction, and
Cooperation.
cooperative
Yeah.
is
That's
kind of like paint the
that's the whole reason I
roses.
got this for you.
Yeah.
Because I know you love deduction.
right, and we love Paint the Roses. We love this, and they're kind of similar in that way, and I really love both of them.
What do you think, Jeff?
It was cool. I don't. It's interesting that these games keep coming out in like sets. Like, why is all of a sudden now we have these cooperative deduction games?
Yeah.
2 new ones come out.
Yeah,
the same-
right away.
we
Paint
never
the
really
Roses
have
in
games
this.
like
Link.
this, and now they're both.
And that's I feel like, why did Dune, Imperium, and Arnet come out at the same time?
Yeah.
Who's
Right.
conspiring back there
Right.
to make these games?
Right.
So the only place that I've seen this game is I saw this game at our local game store. I saw it at RAW, and I looked at the box cover, and I was like, I don't want this game.
Yeah.
I did it. We all do it. We've judged covers.
yeah.
Boom. I look at it. I'm like,
Nah.
no.
would probably
I didn't really
too.
know about it. I just kind of looked at it. I'm like, Devin probably might not get into it, but I think I'm changing my opinion on that. Devin might like this.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'd be interested. Maybe one day I'll like borrow it and play the 2-player with him and then
Certainly.
bring it back. Right.
Yep, sure.
Yeah.
It's quick.
cool.
too.
It
You can
has,
get through it pretty quick.
Yeah, it has the feeling of mental blocks. It has the feeling of Paint the Roses. I love the tiles. I like the challenge of it in a 3-player game. I haven't played the 2-player. I like the challenge of what rule do you pass to that person?
Yeah.
And to who? Like,
Yeah.
all right, my first time I'm playing this, I'm like, all right, Ryan keeps fucking up this room.
Yeah.
He needs to know this.
Like Natalie and I are like, I'm good.
Yep,
Ryan's
yep,
like,
right, it
no,
was just me.
no.
Yeah, it was
I'm
just
like,
me.
he needs to know that I need to have more of
So he
these
stops
than
fucking
these,
it
so he
up for
stops
me.
messing it up,
Yeah.
right? And I like
Right.
that decision.
No, that's a really good
because
point.
then it was like next round, Natalie started messing something. I'm like,
Yep,
well,
now she needs
you
that
got to
one.
know that too. So
Yep.
why don't you
Yep.
share it? So I like that. And then there's also there's a lot going on in your brain of like, these are my 4 rules. I just passed you one. Let me pretend that I remember that one.
Yeah.
And now there was one round where you both gave me your clues.
Yeah, so
now
now you
I'm
have to
looking
keep
at
all of that in
Now
your
I'm looking at 2 more clues or 2 more requirements.
make
I'm
it
saying
all
clues,
work.
but you know what I mean. The requirements of like trying to manage all of that.
But it also kind of worked well because now we have like you can manage that because you're just good like that, and so now you have all of this information.
Yeah.
You almost know like a lot about both of us.
Yeah, and there was even a moment because you have to give that requirement card back, where I forgot that
Which one I gave you? Which
yeah,
one?
you gave
Yeah.
me one that had to do with colors or something, and I was like, man, I forgot what, because I did a move and I was like, that messed Ryan up. Like a turn later, I'm like, I know what I did. Like I messed him up because I remember that
Gotcha.
card that he gave me, but
Yeah.
I'm too busy looking at 5
Right,
other ones.
right.
So that was cool. That mental space was fun to kind of work out and to challenge. And again, I like this being cooperative because I'm not good single-handedly at deduction games. I don't really like that. But this is really fun. I would say like downside in comparison to something like Paint the Roses or Mental Blocks, this lacks like a little bit of tension or that tenseness at the end. Where Mental Blocks has a fucking timer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh,
You
God.
gotta get
You have-
there.
Like,
Yeah, the timer is
someone set
everything
the
in that
timer is
game.
like, beep, beep. Like, okay, I gotta
Oh
do
my
something,
God, I
right?
got 5 minutes.
Or with Paint the Roses, that fucking bitch
Yeah, she's
is,
catching up
is
to you.
on- you
Yeah.
can you can see how close you are to losing.
Yeah.
This one, again, we didn't lose, which was sweet. But if you lose, you're just like, it's over. Right?
Yep,
There's not that
pretty
big
much.
finale either way.
That's a great point. We've only lost one time in the 2-player game, and that time we did lose, we were like, well, now what?
Yeah,
we
we
lost.
can't
We
redo
can't do
it.
it again because
Right.
we know
right.
everything.
So
Yeah,
you
that
just,
was kinda
kind of like
go to the next
discard
one.
that one and
Yep,
you move
you just
on.
go to the next one. Yep.
Yeah.
I do, but again, that's this game, right? There's more.
No, but
there's more
that's
brain
also a
space for
really
that.
good thing to note because
Yeah.
that I think you just hit the nail on the head of one of the main reasons I like Mental Blocks better, which is that okay, this is exciting because we got to get this
Yeah.
done, and this game just literally does not have that component in it at all.
Right, lacks a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that on your turn you have to do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's like you can pass, but if it's not filling all of your requirements, you have to do something.
Even if you
And I
know
like
this is
that.
going to fuck you up, but I
Right.
have
I
to
know.
do something.
Sometimes you don't
So,
want
like,
to
what
because
do
you're like,
you do?
Ryan knows what. Like Ryan's the only one who needs to do something. Like he knows what he's got to do, but I don't know what he's got to do. But I
Right.
have to go on my
Yeah.
turn
And
because
then
he
you
messed
screw
me
up
up,
that
and so
plan.
I'm going to screw up his plans.
Ryan and I kind of knew what we had, so I was like, all right, I think Ryan's going to do this on his turn. Let me do
yes,
that.
we had that was a really
So
cool
that
turn.
was pretty
we did.
cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's a winner. I would pick it up if you like those other games that we mentioned. This is good.
Do you
Yeah, I think it
that
stands head and
Devin,
shoulders
because
with
you had
those.
mentioned with Paint the Roses, you thought Devin might not like it, but she would like this game. Do you think it's because Paint the Roses is more like you're like, well, if it can't be this because of this, and it can't be this because of this, but this is more like you're more focused on your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You know,
you're not.
and
There's
so
not
like
as much
you're just trying to figure out
deducing.
your rule.
You're
like,
not punished
fulfill
for
your
being
rules.
wrong in this game a
Yeah.
lot. You move something
Right, just
around,
time.
it just continues. Right, the game still goes on. And when Paint the Roses, if you mess up,
Yeah,
that
that's
bitch
bad.
is
Yeah.
gonna get you.
That is
Yeah,
bad.
that's true.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna get
cannot
you,
mess
sucker.
up.
Like there's
Yeah,
she's
I'm gonna
So
get
maybe
you,
the
sucker.
less pressure
Yeah, I
will
think
make
that
her enjoy this.
right. I
type
would
of
be
deduction game
be
more.
annoyed to Ryan's point of like if I play this and I lose a couple times in a row, I'm like
Yeah,
oh,
like
it
that's
feels
a
like
waste.
wasted.
I
game.
wasted
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But again, it seems like there's a lot in there. They're
And the app
correcting
and
that
the
with
app
the app,
coming
which
out
is very
it
Right,
seems like it's
yeah.
going to work.
Yeah, Decorum's a winner from Floodgate.
I like it too. One last thing I want to say, Jeff kind of triggered this in me. So when he was talking about, okay, I'm going to give, because like you eventually in this game, once you make it so far and you haven't won, you give information to your teammates, like a requirement of yours, you give them. And I think one of my favorite parts of this game is deciding which one to give. In the
Yeah.
2-player game, sometimes we each have 5 conditions. And I'm like, I want her to know all of these. You know,
Why can't we
like
just share.
You're right. Like which one? It's really
You have to
it's been
really
really
think
fun for
hard
me
which
to be
one
like,
to
which
choose.
one do I want to tell her about? Because there's been scenarios where I tell her and I'm like, why did I do that? She should have known this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's been other times where I'm like, yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
And I told her that because
That's a cool feeling.
she told me
Now
this
she
one.
gets it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like they work
picks
together.
up their card and they're like,
Yep, that's right. Yeah,
that's why you keep screwing up.
Yep,
the room.
that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
this happens. Yeah, so I really did like that. So yes, that is Decorum by Floodgate Games. It's it's really a big winner for us. We're playing it all the time. So if you, like you said, if you like those kinds of games, check it out. What else you got, man?
Let's talk about AEG.
All right.
Which
like
we
AEG.
just got tickets thanks to Mick Dave Mick.
Yes, we did.
For
we did?
AEG's
The big game night.
at Gen Con.
Hype,
Which is like this huge cool thing where you go, you can play any AEG game, and then they send you out the door with a couple of their new games or what their, I think like Whirling Witchcraft was the last one, or Whirling Witches, and 10 maybe was their last one.
10
You
was
get to
the
walk
one.
out with some
Like,
games,
yep.
so everybody gets games.
Hype,
you guys
hype.
will get multiple copies.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm assuming
wait.
that's a future giveaway. But
Heck yeah.
sorry, spoilers.
We're
But
only going to play my copy on Tuesdays. Natalie's copy will be played Wednesday, so we have to
that
keep
makes
them both.
sense. That makes sense. It's like a custody thing.
Yeah.
yeah. So AEG, who has just this massive library of games, obviously, they have this little system that they've created over the last few years called their card crafting system.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie, you would know this from such games like
Come on, Natalie. Come on now. You got this. We just
card
played it.
crafting system.
You're crafting.
Card
So you have
crafting.
a card, and you get to kind of like change the
get
card that
Custom
you have.
heroes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Custom Heroes is one of the games that uses this card crafting system. There is this other one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But anyway, this one that I'm going to talk about is Mystic Vale.
There's more than just the two?
I think there's one more.
Oh, I
maybe
thought it
I'm
was-
totally
I've
wrong. Or
only
maybe there's
familiar
one
with
more
these
like
two.
in the works. But this one's called Mystic Vale. It might have been first. Was it before Custom Heroes?
Yeah, I think Mystic
I
Vale
think this
was
was
first.
first. This was the first kind of like unveil this sort of card crafting system.
Okay.
So this came out a few years ago. There's a bunch of expansions out, and they have recently released and kind of it's sort of, I think it says like 2020 on Board Game Geek, but I think with COVID and shipping and stuff like that, it's just kind of making its way around the globe or in the US.
Right.
So this is Mystic Vale, the Essential Edition, which
okay.
comes with Mystic Vale, the base game, and it comes with 3 expansions.
Yeah, because there was expansions released, right?
Yeah,
Because it's
so
been out for a long time.
This is 3 of maybe 5 total expansions. So the Veil of Magic, Veil of the Wild, and the Mana Storm are the 3 that this comes in. So it comes
And
in
you
like
got
this
this?
big box. Yeah.
Okay.
It comes in this big box. Everything's separated nicely. They have like card kind of dividers because this is a deck building game, and it plays 2 to 4. It's got this theme of your druids and cleansing the land. I don't know. It's a deck building game.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm stuck on, by the way, sorry, you're like talking, and I'm like, all I can think about is there another card crafting game? What is it?
I know. Look,
It's not
maybe
that like
look it up.
Millennium Blades one, is it? Is that
don't
card
think so.
crafting? I'm gonna look
trying
up.
to-
You talk. I'll look up card crafting. Card crafting BGG. Here we go. AEG series card crafting games. Oh my gosh, you ready for this? Mystic Vale, Dead Reckoning, Edge of Darkness, and Custom Heroes.
Okay, so Dead Reckoning's new.
Okay.
So I didn't know how much they use that. Edge of Darkness is a little older.
That's kind of older. I didn't know that was card crafting. That came out in 2019. The third card crafting game from AEG.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So does Dead Reckoning say the
Apparently,
4th
let's
card
see.
game?
Oh, let's take a look. Dead Reckoning says no. Each
Maybe it's
card
like
craft your crew. It doesn't actually specifically say it's the
okay.
4th one, but it does say
But
you
it
have a small
uses
deck of
that.
cards that you will drive your actions in the game with each card representing one of your crew members. This deck functions like one of the deck building games, but the cards in the deck are sleeved. Rather than add a new card to your deck, you improve the skill and abilities of your crew by placing transparent advancement cards in those sleeves.
That's the whole thing.
That's the
I don't
fourth
even need to
one.
do anything. Is that by John D. Clare also?
This is John D. Clare.
John D. Clare. This
Guess who
game,
does the
this
artwork,
Dead
by the way?
Reckoning
Ian
game-
O'Toole.
Nice.
So the publisher is AEG.
Nice. And Dead Reckoning would probably be a pirate game that I might like. I don't gravitate toward pirate
neither.
games ever.
Me neither.
But I'm
Neither.
hearing like amazing things about this Dead Reckoning game.
It does
that
say
I'd really
playtime
like to play.
90 to 150 minutes.
That's a lot.
Interesting.
I'll take 90.
Yeah. 90.
So Mystic Vale is, again, the first one to kind of unveil this. So maybe in the future games, they improve on the system a little bit. Everybody gets 20 cards. So that's your base deck. And some of the cards have like just money icon, right? I'm just going to call them money throughout this. They're called something else, but they're essentially money. Some have the cursed land icon. That's what you're trying to kind of fix. And some of them are just blank. You have 8 cards to start with that are blank, have nothing on them.
Wow.
Okay. So
Gotta craft them.
each turn
Yeah.
starts with this like kind of press your luck thing.
Ooh, I like
So
that.
instead of in deck building where you just draw 5 cards and that's your card, you flip cards until you reveal these cursed lands. Until you reveal a number of cursed lands, right? So as soon as you reveal 3 of them, you can like stop,
Okay.
and then that becomes your hand. Or you can kind of push your luck and go, all right, I'm going to add this in the card. Now I'm going to flip another one. And if you flip another cursed land card, then you kind of, I don't want to say skip your turn, but you don't get to use your cards. You don't get to buy anything. But there's moments where like I have $3, but I really want that card. What are the odds that I get another cursed one, right? So you
sounds really
you
cool.
try to flip and put it down, so you can keep going. So you could have a hand of 3 cards on a turn. You could have a hand of 15 cards if it comes out right, which is kind of cool because then you have these like insane turns. You like buy a couple things, you buy a couple of these monuments cards. Anyway, so and like most deck building cards, you buy cards. But instead of taking a card and then adding it to your deck and shuffling it and making your deck humongous, you are, like Ryan said when he read that thing really fast, you're taking these transparent cards and you're sleeving them and adding them to the sleeves like Custom Heroes, like these other two games we just mentioned, that then add to one of three parts on the card. So you have a top, a middle, and a bottom.
Got it.
And so that's why you have these blank cards, is because some of these transparencies can start your new card, which is just so cool.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That is
Just
very awesome.
So cool. So your deck never gets more than 20
Okay.
because,
They just change.
yeah, I'm sure there's powers and different cards that come up to make you do
How
something.
thick
right? But
does that stack get?
it can get
after a
thick,
while,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's if you play, you guys play Custom Heroes,
Custom
where you
Heroes
shuffle
gets
them up
thick.
and you're kind of dealing out the cards.
You're
You're
like,
like,
oh, I
that
just
was a
gave
thick
you a
one.
really good
Yeah,
one.
that was a thick one,
Yeah.
right? You kind of know that those are there.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. So you slide them in there. There's those three parts, and there's other things. There's other icons that you're collecting that lets you buy the equivalent of like a monument in Everdell, or like these cards that don't go into your sleeves, but just sit next to you. They might give you a power, or they give you like these big point cards, kind of. So there's other icons on there. One of the expansions, I think it's the wild one, Vale of the Wild, has these like leader cards. So one of your blank cards becomes a leader that you slide in there, and he or she has like a cool power, and then when they come up, they do something awesome. The other ones, I played with Veil of Magic and the Veil of the Wild. Those are the two that I read you can just throw right in. Because the Veil of the Magic just adds a shit ton of cards.
More cards.
And Veil of the Wild adds a shit ton of cards plus these leaders. So Dave and I played it with the leaders, and I liked this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it more than I thought because it's just fun to make those cards.
Is it just as fun to make them as it is in Custom Heroes?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because there's like some really cool combos that you can make. Do you buy something that makes your cursed card better, or do you just say like, screw the cursed card, I'm gonna make all my blank cards fucking awesome?
Yeah.
But then if they don't come out,
Yeah.
so it's like, do you try to
have a good turn
negate
every
the
once in a
bad
while.
cards, or do you just make a bunch of awesome cards? So that was really fun.
Well, it's also probably cool because in Custom Heroes, you're customizing your cards, and then they go away, and then
Right,
you might
like
not get them
other
ever
people
again.
can
Right.
use them.
This
That
one's
doesn't
like, this
happen in
is
this
your
one. It's
deck.
your
You're
deck.
creating something. And sometimes all the time, there are 3 copies of the same card. One at the top, one at the middle, and one at the bottom.
Got it.
And a lot of times I like, we want their card. That's awesome. I'm going to buy that. And then your deck comes out and you have 5 cards, and that card is on the top slot, and all your cards that you have are already top filled.
Ha.
So then you can't get that one to
Right.
put in
No.
the top part. So that's sort of fun decision. So you can't always just get what you want. You can't put things on top. Like Custom Heroes, you can only have, I think, the 4, right? They have the little dots at the
Yep, the
bottom to
dots.
sort of fill them in. You can only have a top, middle, or bottom. You can't overlay cards or like
Right.
remove things. There's powers, I'm assuming, that kind of do that. But it was fun to try to just create just bomb ass cards.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it reminds
Right?
me of Chimera Station, except instead of making your workers, you're making your cards.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just, that activity itself was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to take that little transparent thing and slide it into your card
craft the
to make
card.
something that's new. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
Every time you say that, I think of "Welcome to Charlie's Crafty Kitchen."
Well, you can eat what you make.
And so I like the leaders. The leaders, I will probably just keep in there. So instead of 8 blank cards, you have 7 blank cards and 1 is your leader. You can spend money instead of buying a card to flip your leader card over. You take it out and put it back in opposite, and you get a little more. That just adds a little bit of variety to everybody's deck, which could change how you buy things or why you buy things. And I like that a lot.
Okay.
And I also like that you're not increasing or necessarily decreasing the number of cards in your deck. You can't totally get rid of all the shitty curse cards because if you could, then you would have 20 cards every single turn.
Yeah.
So you can't get rid of those. They're there. And even the curse cards, you can add curse cards to your deck because, like, man, that card is awesome, but it comes
But
with
it
a
comes
curse
with a
on
curse,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
So I like that you're not burying your good cards all the time
Yeah.
because there's only 20. And you then also have to be thoughtful in what you want in your deck because there's only 20.
How long does this game take to play?
So here's a couple negatives.
Okay.
Our first play took a little longer than I would like, but it felt like a lot of deck building games where it's like slow.
And then all of a sudden you're
it's
super
like,
powerful.
The last
do
like
everything.
5 turns, Dave and I were like,
We're
I can do
superheroes.
so much. And the game ends in the same way that Ascension ends, where there's a pool of
Gems or something.
gems that you are getting throughout the game, and as soon as that's empty, then you
Right,
then you
that
end
triggers
the
the
game.
end game. That's cool.
And Dave was getting some points, but he had to take them from the bag instead of that thing. So that was a
okay.
different. That might have slowed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing that might have slowed us down, speaking of, this is why I moved this game. I was going to talk about this game later, but you
boy.
complained about something in Decorum. I'm going to complain about it in
Oh, nice.
Mystic Vale. You have to peel off film for
of the
every
cards.
single
the
card. You had to do that in
cards.
Custom Heroes too, if you remember
Yeah, I
that.
do remember that.
So Dave and I, every time we like bought a card or flipped a card over on this player mat, we just like try to peel them off and peel them off. There are hundreds of cards I haven't peeled.
Oh,
That is annoying. Granted, you only have to do it once and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And I understand they're saving the quality of the card, right?
Right.
This is because they're transparent. You don't want scratches or
still,
shit on
how
them,
can
but,
you make a game and be like, I got to put this on my customers to do?
like, man, that just sucks.
Like, oh, man.
So it's obviously something in production or whatever, but
Right.
that's an annoying thing that you're
Right.
going to
I
have
forgot
to
about
do.
that.
And there's never any like little tab.
Nope,
It's like you're
nope.
like picking at it.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
and
am I
you're
going to
like-
ruin this?
Exactly.
Because I'm like,
I'm gonna chip this little thin
Yeah.
plastic thing, and I haven't yet. Knock on wood, I haven't yet chipped it. But yeah, you're like, or what if you just cut your nails the second
you
before, and
dent
you're like,
in
well,
there,
I
yep.
can't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's really annoying.
yeah.
There is some randomness in cards that are just that's what deck builders are.
Yeah.
So
just
a
gonna
card
happen.
might come out that benefits someone else every time it flips, right? Like, oh, well, Dave can get that card again, and like it flipped
Yeah,
over, and
that
now he can
sucks.
buy it. But
Right.
that's just that happens. It's going to happen both ways. So it's not like
Is this your game?
yeah. So it's not going to happen both ways.
How many can it play?
It can play 4.
Okay.
My next point is I think it's best at 2.
Oh, okay.
I think if I played it with 4, I think it would have just been too long.
Ooh.
Deck building games
Maybe this is something we go for.
Deck building games are so awesome at 2
Bought it.
because you can just you want to go back and forth. In deck building games, you just want to take your turn.
Yeah.
Because there's not a massive amount to think about in a lot of deck building games because you play the cards in front of you. It's not like, oh, this worker placement strategy.
Right.
You just want to like go.
Because
Because
usually the last thing you do on your turn is draw up your new hand.
yeah, and you're like,
so you're like,
I want to play them.
I gotta
so
play this.
The back and forth is awesome at 2. I would be a little annoyed having to wait 3 people and then being like, oh, I don't,
Yeah.
So I think I'm just probably going to keep playing it at 2.
awesome.
It's the Essential Edition. If you don't have this game at all, get the Essential Edition. It comes with like a cool mat that you can like a neoprene mat where you put all the cards on. So that's pretty cool. It's
Don't.
fun.
Too late.
I was.
Seriously?
Well, I have to now.
It has to. I can let you borrow
It's coming up. Stop buying
I
a bunch
have
of
to
shit.
do it for the
Yeah,
content. I'm
I can let
sorry.
you borrow it.
Are you going to be
Or he has
okay
to buy
peeling
it.
all the sleeves off of the cut?
Buy it.
I'm not saying I did.
Oops.
You said it's too late.
It
It
is
is.
typing. I was surprised at how much I did like it, and I overall the fun was making those cards.
Yeah, totally.
I'm excited to now see a whole bunch of different cards next time and make a whole bunch of different cards. So it was pretty cool. I like this one. So I'm going to
Sweet.
keep this one around.
The
for
card
sure.
crafting thing is just really fun.
It's
I'm
inherently
surprised
fun.
nobody else has done it because it just seems
Right?
like it's this company, this designer,
I know
doing it.
and I don't know if it's just trying to balance that seems like a nightmare. So not only are you trying to balance like the weight of just individually 200 cards,
Yes.
you're now trying to balance the weight of individually 200 cards with 3 different slots in each card.
Right.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, that sounds
That's a lot.
bananas, but
Right.
it works. It's fun. Yeah, Mystic Vale. I
Mystic
liked it.
Vale. Awesome.
Cool.
So when I first got Isle of Cats Explore and Draw in the mail, I made a little de-shrinking video courtesy of our buddy Jim, and Jeff messaged me and said, man, not even Isle of Cats can keep you away from a blank and write game. And that should tell you everything you need to know about my feelings about both Isle of Cats as well as blank and write games in one short little sentence. Because he's right. Natalie and I did not like Isle of Cats. I loved the polyomino aspect to it, but thought the deck system and the basket system thing was a bit overwrought, annoyingly convoluted for something I wanted in that type of game. I just wanted to lay cat tiles on a board with some constraints and try to get all the rats covered and all the rooms filled and try to get these sets of the same colored cats. I didn't want this basket system and different named decks that you got to combine and play and set up, and I just thought that did too much for what I wanted in a polyomino game about cats. Enter Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. It's like they heard everything I disliked about the original game, removed it all, and made it purely about the shapes on the boat, and boy, is that something to be excited about if you're me.
They listened to our episode.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, we gotta do something about this. We gotta do
We
something.
can't leave Ryan James of the Gamecasters disappointed in us.
If you're you, who knows what the hell you want, but if you're me, you're very happy, and you ought to be. I mean, you're me. Take a look at that wiener. It's not that big, but man, does it have a nice shape to it. Anyway, Isle of Cats Explore.
What shape?
Square.
Oh, okay.
Penis shaped.
Anyway, in Isle of Cats Explore and Draw, you are filling your boat with cats to save them from an Isle of Cats. Anyone familiar with the base game will feel right at home with this version, as it's almost identical in every way. The thing is that it gets rid of that stupid deck system. Now there's just one deck of cat cards and one deck of lesson cards that you use in every game. There's nothing to think about at all. No convoluted setup or deck construction. The basket system is also gone, and it's replaced by this grid of cat and lesson cards that comes out each round. On your turn, you simply simultaneously select a column of 3 cards and draw them onto your ship using the colored dry erase markers it comes with, or if it's a lesson card, mark it off on your lesson board over there so you know what to go for to gain extra points. The tile laying works exactly the same. You're still trying to get families of the same colored cats, cover up rat and map spaces, and fill rooms. You have special actions that you can take throughout the game that give you flexibility, and the artwork is all exactly the same. At the end of the 7th round, whoever has the most points is the winner, which is determined by your families of cats in each color, your lesson cards, rare treasures, and deducting rat and cat room, and room points. It's very, very similar. So things I like. I am very happy that the deck and basket systems are gone from this game, as again, I really felt like, especially the deck system was really inhibiting for me playing this game in the future, simply because I didn't want to deal with it and just found it annoying. It's completely gone from this version, and really streamlines it in a way that I wish would have been done in the base game. The game plays very quickly as turns are simultaneous, which I also love. It plays up to 6 players out the box, and there are sheets you can print off from the website that will allow you to play with almost an infinite number of players so long as there's one actual copy. The versatility is really, really cool. Things I didn't like. There's a few things I didn't love. The dry erase markers are how you fill in your boat. You draw the polyomino shapes in, and that sounds great at first, but then you actually use them, and a couple of things happen that annoy me. Number one, they're dry erase markers, and your boat is shaped in such a way that when you draw shapes in, you're going to want to rest your hand down on the sheet, but doing so will instantly wipe away marks you've made previously, and that can be a bit problematic if you're not careful. If you're careful and watching it, it's not a big deal, but if you're not careful, it's a big deal. They're colored markers, which means to work right, they have to be colored markers as you draw the color of the cat you're drafting. But so if they run out or just don't work, you're kind of shit out of luck because there's nothing you can really do about that. I guess you could use just a black marker and then inside the shape just be like green, I guess. But you also need to differentiate the different shapes. So it's just kind of that would be kind of a bummer. You can't use a pen or a pencil on your own because these are dry erase markers. Chances are you don't have colored ones. Anyway, also the game does not come with an eraser. If you're going to use dry erase in your games, it would be awesome to come with some sort of eraser. It's easy enough to get paper towel or something like that, but it's also slightly disappointing because I've played a ton of games that have dry erase markers where they do have an eraser, and it's great.
Right.
Yep.
Especially since the dry erase markers with eraser lids, they're just so common. You can get those.
Either eraser lids or
little
even the little cloth.
What's that little cloth that they send? Yeah, just give me something like that. These are little nitpicks, but my biggest issue with the game, though,
for sure,
is as they're markers, it's just much less satisfying than both placing real actual tiles onto the board as well as colored pencils on paper. The markers are just sloppier, less attractive, and the game loses a bit of charm, in my opinion, because of them. In a game like Second Chance, it's super fun drawing the shapes because you can use colored pencils on a piece of paper, which is much easier to control and make it look nice and satisfying when you're coloring them in, and they aren't prone to smudging or sloppiness like these markers are. I'm also really annoyed by how you have to set up the grid. It's really strange. So the grid of cards is 3 rows with 4 cards each. And you're putting out the cards from both the cat deck and the lesson deck. But the way you build the grid is not really super intuitive. The rulebook tells you to put cat cards in slots 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. And lesson cards in slots 2, 4, 7, and 12. But the slots are just you putting cards out onto the table. So you have to literally remember that. And there's not like a reminder card that's like, here's the grid shape. You have to know that. Like, okay, what was it? Card 1 comes from this deck. Card 2 comes from that deck. Card 3. And so you're kind of like looking in the rule book at first, and you get it after a while. It's just not super simple to remember which slot the cards need to go in. And if I don't just play this all the time, I'm going to forget that by the next time I play the game. And so then I'm going to have to just relearn where the cards go within the grid to memorize it each round. It's just kind of a weird thing. Overall, though, I really had a lot of fun with Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. No game is perfect, And it's worth me pointing out what I feel the negatives are so you can make a decision to see if these things would bother you enough to not purchase it or not. But for me, the negatives are more nitpicky, like I said. I think this game is a solid blank and right, and I'm really excited to play this one again, and I think it will stick around for us. What do you think?
Yeah,
Amber?
I think so too. I agree it's a solid blank and right. I just noticed too, I think it's kind of funny. I was looking at the box cover. There's not even a single picture of a cat on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like...
It's just the boat and the island.
It's just like an island and a boat in the water.
The boat is rescuing the cats from the
Yeah.
island. Well, that's how the original theme was. I don't know.
I mean, I don't remember like a lot of specifics about the original Isle of Cats. I just remember that I was not impressed with it, and I didn't really like have a desire to keep playing it. But I did really enjoy this game. I liked that it was kind of more simple. I liked the blank and right aspect of it. I know that you said that you didn't like the marker part. I actually didn't mind that at all. I kind of liked it. I agree that it would probably be better with colored pencils, but I also like that it's more environmentally friendly using the dry erase markers. And then another thing I thought of too was like the only thing that I think if we actually had tiles that would make it cooler is that your boat would actually be filled with cats.
Yeah.
But right now you're just drawing shapes.
Yeah.
And the cats are only on the cards, and you're just
Right.
mentally looking at them and then drawing a shape and not like seeing the cat filling up the boat. But that, again, that's like not a big deal. I just think that would be like a cooler way to do it.
Right.
But no, I liked it a lot. It's Isle of Cats, but just in general, as like a blank and right game, I thought it was a fun way to, I don't know. I guess I liked filling up the board. It had all the different things, like you had to fill up rooms or you'd lose points. You'd have to cover up rats or you'd lose points. You have to build these families of tiles together, which goes along with the real Isle of Cats. But also like the way that you had to pick a certain row that you wanted to use, it was not easy. That was like a fun, tough decision to make because I'm like, oh, I want this card over here, but
It's in the wrong column.
Which row in total is better? Even though I really want,
right? Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, column, whatever. Which one is better? And you're like, I really want a blue, but blue's only in this row, which I don't really want those other cards. What?
Nothing. You said row again. It's fine.
Whatever column.
Doesn't matter.
So that was fun.
Columns hold up buildings. That's why they go up.
Yeah, right.
So
there you go.
like deciding on which column was like a fun, tough decision to make. And then I also liked that there was the little exception rules that you can do. You can pick like
Special rules
up to 3 times. So like sometimes if you really like, if it would really benefit you, you could pick something. You could pick an actual.
You could pick a row, and it has more cards.
You could
in it.
pick
Yeah.
like cards from different columns or whatever it was. You could do that like once per game to kind of get around that sometimes to help you out. So I liked that was thrown in there.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know, and I like that it was quick and didn't have a lot of components. It was just like a
it's going to be easy to get this back out to the table.
It's going to be
which is what
easy
you
to
want in a
play,
blank and right game. You don't want to
basically.
set it up.
When we
forever.
finished playing this, I'm like, I liked it enough that I want to play it again. I would play it again a bunch of times, and it seems like it'll be easy to get out and get played. It's not something we'll put away and be like, that'll never happen.
And that was the opposite to the
and so
normal
that's
Isle of Cats.
kind of
for us.
the big reasons that I liked it.
Very cool. Yeah, so that's Isle of Cats. Meow and right.
Meow and right.
Explore and draw.
Is that what it's called? Meowing, right?
No,
Oh.
no. But we're is playing off of Rawrin, right? Remember
Because they're
Rawrin?
cats.
Yeah,
Meow.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right. All right, Jeff, what you got, man?
I got a something and right.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
It's a flip and right.
Explore and right.
It's an
Just like
explore
us.
and right. This one is called The Explorers,
The
Oh, right.
not explore. What is the first one called?
Explore and
Explore and
draw.
draw.
Yeah.
This one's like draw and explore.
Draw and explore.
Yeah. No, this one's just called The Explorers or The Explorers. I guess it depends. So
Tomato.
this is designed by a guy that has been, I think, for the three of us, either has been a miss lately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phil Walker
missed for
Harding
me.
is a name that, if you're kind of in the
Big
hobby,
name.
he's made a lot of big games. He comes out also with a lot of little light, short
Right.
games, small games, and a lot of people love his games. Sometimes I feel like there's almost not enough meat on the bone for some of these games. But he has a new game that I was seeing everywhere. This game, The Explorers, was everywhere.
Me too. This game looks
And
sweet. The way it looks.
I was excited. I saw it at RAW, and Ryan told me to buy it, so I bought it. And
Gotta do it.
He'll do whatever.
yeah, I know. Is it just called Explorers or The Explorers?
It's
just called Explorers.
Did you bring it?
I'm gonna type it in.
I did bring it.
Oh, you did?
It's just called Explorers.
Explorers.
It's just
It is
called Explorers.
Explorers.
So just pretend I never said the word the or the. Okay? So this game is called Explorers by Phil Walker Harding. And Ryan told me to buy it, and I bought it. So Explorers is a flip and right game where you take the role of explorers.
Boom.
Charting unknown land or some bullshit like that, right? Everyone has this cool frame, for really lack of a better word, that holds your scoring tiles on top. So the scoring tiles can be like shuffled up and dealt out, and they held on top. And then it also holds your 4 map tiles where you're going to be charting land. All players arrange those 4 tiles that you put in there. So each player gets 8. You pick 4. Everybody arranges their board exactly the same. Now, do you remember the game Scarabia?
Yep.
Kind of like that, how everyone has to arrange it exactly the same.
But it's got that frame.
Yeah, so it has the frame,
Oh,
so it kind of
right.
sits in there. So I think, first of all, I think that's very cool.
That
It's
is
a cool way
cool.
to do it. It
a good way to do
allows for some
variability.
Yeah, exactly. So the map is made up of 4 different land types. There's water, mountain, desert, and green.
Yeah.
Green.
On your turn, basically, the first player flips over a landscape tile, and that tile shows 2 different landscapes. So it would show, maybe it shows water and mountain on it. That player picks one of those landscapes
And everyone else does the same one.
and draws 3 X's on adjacent landscape, and then everybody else can either choose that same one and draw 2 X's, or the other one and draw 3.
Ooh, the other side.
So if it was mountain and water and it was my turn and I picked water, I would draw 3 X's on adjacent water spaces. If you chose water, you would be able to draw 2, or if you chose mountain, you'd be able to draw 3.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That makes some sense?
Yep.
And so why are you doing this? But the reason is there's a whole bunch of icons throughout all of these tiles, okay? And they do a bunch of different things that trigger a whole bunch of effects, just like any roll and right, flip and right, combo-tastic sort of game, right? Mm-hmm. So each round, there's 4 rounds. You want to collect certain goods. There's an apple, there's a fish, and there's a carrot. You want to collect those. But you also want to collect gems, because gems accumulate points over the game. You want to get keys so you can unlock the temples to score points. Ooh. You want to hit these like little horse tiles because that lets you check off something somewhere else. You want to collect these scrolls because the scrolls allow you to ignore what is flipped up, and then you get to mark off 4 on your board of a specific land type.
Shit.
So that's cool. And all of these things, the gems and the collecting things and the temples, all of this scores you points in just different ways.
Okay.
If you want to know specifics, just look it up.
Just play the game.
So in each of the 4 rounds, there's 7 tiles that get flipped up. 1 sits out every round. Sad. And then at the end, you get points in each round that you're kind of totaling up. And then at the end, you total up all those points. And if you win, you win. And if you lose, you're a loser. But that's okay.
Fucking loser.
So I have to admit that I was, maybe because of the last few Phil Walker Harding games, I've been a little disappointed with. I like this one. I played it again with my couple students at Board Game Club yesterday, and they liked it too.
Okay.
So the specific things I liked, the 8 different tiles allows for really variability, like Ryan said, in the game to arrange things differently. You'll be starting on different tiles depending on how they spin around and how they do that. I was kind of nervous that everybody was going to be doing the same thing. But as I played it with Devin and I played it with my students, everybody seemed to be doing different things at different paces, which I kind of liked. So the decisions were kind of there. You can do a lot in this game, but it does seem like you can't do everything, which is good. There are moments toward the end of rounds where you are making a choice of going, okay, I want 3 X's, but I really need the water right now to get the fish. So maybe I'll only take 2. Because you always in your head want to go, well, I want more X's, so I'm just going to take 3 every single time.
Right.
But there are moments where you just can't. You can't take it. And
does it feel bad? Like, damn it, I gotta only take 2
I
X's now.
2 X's. which the number of X's on your board doesn't matter, but that creates the path for you to get to the other things. There are these cool, so I mentioned the temples. Each tile has a temple on it, and each tile has a key. So as you collect keys, you then need that to go into the temple, and then that gets you some pretty big points if you're the first one in the temple. And if I'm the first one in the temple in like quadrant A, the top left, if I'm the first one there, I get the most points, and then you guys have to cross it off. So then you're battling for a little less points.
I see.
So there's this kind of fun element of like racing. You're racing to these temples. With that, there's also, if I notice Ryan's like going at the quadrant A temple, I can just maybe be like, all right, I'm going to go to C. No one's going that way. I can go that way. So I kind of like that. That was pretty cool. It comes with, the next time I play it, it comes with some advanced rules, and I want to play that probably the rest of the times I play it. So each of the 4 tiles that you're not using have a scoring condition on the back of those tiles that you'll essentially shuffle up and draw 1, 2, or 3 of them, and then that will be your own individual way that you're going to score your board also, which is kind of cool. So some of them are like completing rows and columns. You get an extra few points if you don't check off one of the horse icons. So that I want to play.
Well, it seems like, because there's like 256 individual squares to fill in.
Wow.
You're not going to fill in all of them, right? You can't.
Right.
But there are, you just like, you try to like create these lines and you try to race to these certain areas. It's like I said, it's a lot better than I thought. I complain about the markers as well with they don't have eraser. And you're not doing a ton of erasing, but you are racing at the end of the fucking game.
Yeah, end of the game. There's like a shit ton of X's now.
So like,
so
now I'm using a baby wipe or a tissue or my hand.
Right,
like,
I hate that. I hate that. Just
Devin also liked it. When we got done, I was like, Devin, do you like it? She's like, yeah, I would play that.
Oh.
So it's kind of cool. If we're looking for like a 20-minute game, I think this is going to be in the...
Oh, so it plays pretty quick.
Yeah, we were done in 20. My students and I were done in 25.
Wow.
And it's cool. So you rotate obviously who's the first player, who gets to pick. So you always get an opportunity to pick what side you want. And this exceeded my expectations. I don't know if it was because I went in with lower expectations because I've been disappointed, but I'm excited to try the advanced scoring. I'm excited to just kind of play this a handful of more times to get a real idea of how much I like it or how much variability there is.
Yeah, like, so where does it compare to something like Silver and Gold, another one of his games that's also like a...
I think...
Flipping right. Probably less to that,
Silver,
maybe.
Yeah, it seems simpler. Silver and Gold does, I mean.
Silver and Gold is simpler.
Silver and Gold seems simpler.
But Silver and Gold takes 20 minutes to play.
Yeah.
So this, you get a little more
game
in the same
amount
of time.
You also get the advanced modes, which I think if this was just how I've played it, the base of like, here's how you score and you just draw on this, I don't think that it would hit the table more than 5 times. But with the advanced mode, I think that's all how Devin and I are going to play.
Yeah.
I also noticed, and I keep forgetting the game that you mentioned this a few episodes ago, where we finished and we were very, very close. And I was like, is that going to happen?
Yeah, is it going to be like this every
because
play?
you can do a lot every time. And then I played with my students, and I had 93, and this girl Jenna had 93, and Ryan had 83, and I was like, that's also really close.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
But I think the scoring tiles will change that, because now not only am I focused on this, but I don't want to cross up any horses, but Natalie does want to cross up. Like, I think that will help it become more replayable, more variable. But my 2 plays, I've enjoyed it.
It looks really cool.
I brought it here in case if we didn't have anything set up, I was like, we could play it.
Oh, yeah, that would have been sweet. Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
That is just Explorers.
Explorers. Forget the
Not the Explorers. It is just Explorers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'd like to talk to you all for a moment about the Gateway Board Gaming Network, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com and the Gateway Network on Instagram. The sole purpose of the network is to help new or up-and-coming content creators grow by shouting each other out. If you go to the Gateway Network website, you will find other amazing content creators who are trying to grow as well. They are all amazing people who produce fantastic content. It's very exciting, due also in large part to the merch store there. Yes, we've got a merch store, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com/store. There you can find so many amazing items from a large portion of our members. Whatever kind of content you're looking for, the Gateway will have it. If you're a newer board game content creator and you're looking for a way to grow your content, please consider heading over to thegatewaynetwork.com to learn more. If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters to help out. The Gamecasters Twitch account has relaunched, and we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night, streaming board game and video game content and having a blast talking to all of you. If you just simply can't get enough Gamecasters in your day, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/Gamecasters and give us a follow and maybe a sub. I have the best time streaming for everyone, and it's just a super fun place to unwind after a long day and watch someone who is trash at games play games. Come hang out and engage with me in a way you never thought you had to before, but I'm sorry, you do. Twitch.tv/Gamecasters. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all three of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. It's now time, dear listeners, for you to laugh hysterically at the collective hive mind of our social media followers in this installment of the Instagram Inbox.
And now it's time for the Instagram Inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
It's me, the Mad Board Gamer, for another installment of the Instagram Inbox.
I know. Inbox.
Have you guys ever lied before?
No. Are you kidding me? No way have I
all
never
the
not
time.
lied.
Have you ever lied to your children?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
Isn't that the
Of
best?
course. All of it. Yeah. It's great.
So
you have to sometimes.
Yeah, I went out into the
protect
Instagram
them.
world, and I asked people their best lie, their funniest lie, their most convincing lie. So tell me who
To
you
their
lied
children?
to their children, to anybody.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I got some really great answers. Do you guys have one you want to start with, or do you want?
We'll just come upon it naturally, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can lead me into it, because I do have one I want to share that I've kind of shared before, but I want to we can go a little further detail about it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
But that's fine. You can go.
So I got a couple answers on on what's our thing called? The Discord.
Yeah, I've heard
And so I wanted to start with those. So dog powered vehicle on the Discord. You should join it. And Ryan is live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so dog powered vehicle started with, man, I love lying to children. They're such idiots.
Stupid suckers.
When I was in my
Such
20s, he
idiots.
says, and between jobs, my friend let. This is sorry. Let me restart. My friend let run an after-school snack program.
Okay.
Pretty awesome treats. But once a week, I'd grab a bag of Gardettos, those snacks with the rye chips and all sorts of yummy stuff in it. There was one kid that was just mental for them. He asked for them all the time. He loved them. So one day we had them, and he took his, and he said, "You're welcome." And he looked at me kind of funny, and so I said, "Enjoy my snacks." And the kids are dumb, like he says here. He
Yeah.
says, "Did you make these, Mr. Eric?" Of course. I'm Eric Gardetto. And he looked at me like he had just met a celebrity. And then I laughed at him.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
great.
hilarious.
Kids are stupid.
Dumb kids.
Dumb kids. So May over at Ameritrash Games on Instagram said she started this urban legend at her school.
Okay.
And convinced all of the kids there by proxy. So you tell them one, and then word kind of spreads, right?
Yep.
That putting tape over your mouth was gross, like Scotch tape, because that's where the cockroaches in the school lay eggs to protect them.
Oh my god.
Then no one could take them because they're stuck on the thing. And that the saliva on your lips will actually help hatch those eggs.
It activates the
And
the
she said
cockroach
she's a science
eggs.
teacher, so everyone just bought it.
Yeah. Like,
And she said for like a while, people would, like, she would hear it in the hallways, and she'd just be like, hee hee hee. Like,
Was there
how
like an
amazing.
issue?
never
I
gave it
wonder?
up. She never told them
No.
the truth.
Like, was there like a problem with kids putting tape on their
I
mouth?
think just because middle school kids are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was like, how do I
kids
get them
are
to stop
weird.
doing that?
Yeah, so how do you get them to stop? And that's how she got them to stop.
That's genius.
Funny.
Okay, here we go. Mad-89.
Oh,
I know
shit.
her.
Hey. And so me and my wife tell our son Jack that pop is really spicy.
Yeah. Spicy. That's
Oh,
so
you won't
sorry.
like it.
you
It's too
can't
Yeah,
have
it's too
pop. It's
spicy.
just too
Ooh,
spicy.
Devin do dash, Devin
spicy.
do dash, Devin do dash.
So, Gaming with Jamin, who I sent a couple games to in the mystery box giveaway.
All right.
Cool.
Welcome to the inbox. Our landlords don't allow pets. That's the lie he told his kids.
Okay.
And he said, we don't have landlords.
You live in a house, yeah.
We don't have a landlord.
Sorry, the landlord's just
Yeah,
won't
sorry,
let us.
those
Ah,
landlords.
Shit. Damn it. Oh, I want to. So, oh, he said no.
Yep.
Dang.
This is Mama and Mary Kay. This is Devin's best friend, Lauren.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hey, Lauren.
Told her boss that she had really bad diarrhea and couldn't come to work so she could go to Devin's baby shower.
But the lie was not that she didn't have diarrhea.
That she couldn't come.
Yeah, she could go to the baby shower. Yeah.
Yeah, so she came to Devin's baby shower, told her boss she can't come to work because she had really bad diarrhea.
If you're the boss, you can't be like, come to work anyway. You got to be like, oh shit.
You got bad
Right,
diarrhea.
like you're already
this is going to cause
uncomfortable.
more
Because you feel like
problems.
if someone's using the word diarrhea to you, that's real.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't ever
Nobody
think
would
like they're
say
lying
that.
to
That is
Yeah.
I have that like banked in my brain if I get pulled over.
Diarrhea.
I'll be like,
Diarrhea.
I have to poop.
I have diarrhea.
Like I just have
Let me go.
Like I have to poop.
Can you let me go?
I just hope the cop's not like, prove it.
Prove it. Poop your pants.
I got a commode in the back.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I'll escort you to the bathroom.
Yeah. Warrior Mama 2 Boys says that the ice cream truck is not an ice cream truck, but a veggie truck. That it just serves veggies.
Oh, you guys want the veggie truck? I hear it.
Oh, you want the veggie truck's coming? No, not that
Mom.
one.
I've heard a similar one where somebody told their kids that it's just a music truck and they just go around playing music for people just for joy.
That's adorable. That's a good one.
You know, so they wouldn't ask for ice cream.
Date Night Dice says that they told their kids that they ate all the Oreos because they're always snacking. But Emily says it was me.
So the Oreos,
Where are the Oreos?
So the Oreos are
The
gone.
Oreos are gone.
She said the
Emily
kids ate
Emily
them.
ate them.
You guys ate them all.
You guys
Yeah,
are always
don't-
snacking and you're
Can't
always eating the
stop
Oreos.
eating the Oreos. Oh, she's got her face full.
She's got crumbs all
Yeah,
over.
like chocolate all over her face.
Jim Gamer says I told Shaggy that it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
What do we got here? We got the McMeeples. This is Sam tells his coworkers that I know what I'm doing. The
That's what I do with everybody in my life.
Yep.
Swoozle says I'm actually not capable of lying, which might be the biggest lie I've ever told. So you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Oh my god.
Sheer boredom says
so Ryan.
that his
Yeah,
car is
he is.
invisible to people looking at us. My son was 5 or 6. But the car is just driving around. It's just invisible.
Nobody can see it.
Homemade soda told his kids the biggest lie: Santa Claus.
Yep.
Or
We don't do that. No,
We don't do that
There's
one.
no Santa Claus. There's no Easter Bunny.
I have a message
Just
from the
us.
Gamecasters account
Uh-oh.
that says, "Remind me to tell you the dildo story."
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this has
already
been.
told this,
I think we've told this before, but Jeff says that maybe it hasn't gone into detail. One day, Natalie was doing a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
She was setting it up for the kids, and so when we do a scavenger hunt for the kids, Natalie goes and sets the clues up all over the house, and I go upstairs, or the kids go upstairs in our bedroom. Because that's the only room in the house she's not going to hide clues. So they go in there and wait while Natalie makes them. So Natalie's making clues. Kids are in the bedroom, and I'm not in there with them yet. Usually we're all in there together. It's like me and the kids are in there together, and Natalie's hiding everything. Well, so the kids are in there for a little bit by themselves, and I walk in the door after a little bit, and Cameron is laying down on his stomach on our bed. Lexi is like massaging his back with Natalie's dildo.
Heyo.
She's shaking her head no.
It's not a dildo.
It is a
It's
dildo.
a vibrator.
Well,
Is it a penis?
no, it goes inside.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like a penis.
Does it have to look like a flesh human penis to be a dildo, or is it just a dildo is the thing that you get
Why did you
banged
add the
with?
word flesh and human to like?
Like, I mean, like,
shape. Like, okay, I guess it doesn't have to look like a human penis, but it has to at least just be like.
Can vibrators be out and inside?
that's a
tools?
good question. I
Yeah.
thought vibrator was just for the outside. Dildo goes in.
Vibrators can be an all-around tool.
This
This
dildo
could be
that I'm talking
both.
about has a vibrating portion kind of jutting
The whole thing?
off to the thing.
Either way, it's
anyway.
a tool
Jetting off.
that vibrates that is used for a certain thing, not
Back
for
rubbing.
massaging your back.
So
And the-
oh,
I walk in
I
absolutely horrified, and Lexi's like, look what I found in Natalie's nightstand. And I was like, oh, you found the massager. Oh, that's great. You know what? Let's put that over here. Let's all go wash our hands, and then it's time to go do the scavenger hunt.
before he said that, he took a picture.
Yeah, I took a picture. Okay, so I took a picture of the thing. So that was embarrassing part number one. This is more about lying, because I lied to the kids and told them it was,
A massage.
it was a massager. The embarrassing part was a few days later when my Amazon account is linked to my Google Photos, and that shows up on the TV when the TV goes to sleep. My sister's over, and then just all of a sudden on the TV, there's Lexi with a dildo in her hand, and my sister's like, what the fuck is that?
Me, like
Oopsies.
my face turns bright red, and she just starts cracking up, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my God.
Ryan was like, "It's mine."
Yeah. And I'm like,
worry
Natalie
about
doesn't
it.
use those. Yeah, it's all
It's my
good.
dildo
Right, it's
vibrator
my-
outside inside
Yeah.
It's
tool.
my inside flesh dildo vibrator.
Well, it's funny because like
Human.
we didn't have this was like years ago, but like for Christmas, Ryan got one of those massage gun things.
Those are sweet. This is not
it's basically
now.
like a vibrating thing for massaging yourself.
It like punches you over and over again.
Right.
Yes,
and the kids
great.
love that thing. They use it constantly. And I'm not going to keep going.
No, yeah, she's about to say some gross thing that Scarlett thought it could be used for.
Well, they'll use it in like certain areas sometimes, and we're like, don't do that there.
And Scarlett's like, why? It feels good.
I know.
No.
Okay, I got 2 more.
Okay.
Board gaming Madigan or Jojitsu.
Deepwater
So
Joe.
Delaney was at an age where she was getting concerned about like eating meat and being like, these making the connection that those were animals.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
So
what are you going with here? Okay.
Joe and Jen told Delaney, their daughter, that the chickens that they were eating were bad ones.
They've done something wrong.
Yeah, they did something
They're the
wrong.
naughty chickens.
They're the bad ones.
Yeah.
And apparently now you can eat them.
And Delaney's cool with that?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, oh, okay.
All right, our good friend Kevin,
Mr. Measles?
Mr. Measles, said one of the better lies he kept going with another teacher at his school. Okay, the two of them taught the same level sophomores each year, and one day he got playfully pissed at Kevin.
Okay.
To his class for something I did, just kind of a goofy little thing, right?
Okay.
The kids told Kevin that they were angry. He was angry with them. Okay, and he writes, he and I never discussed this, but kept up this charade that they were arch enemies for like a decade, and that stories would get passed down about.
Are we sure the other guy wasn't actually thinking this is real?
I think so.
Because they never talked about it.
Like,
maybe he was pissed.
Well, they never taught. Like they never told the kids like more about it, right? So they just kind of kept leading this thing on. So he said they would glare at each other in the hallways, make subtle snide remarks to each other about their classes. And he said the killer was one day in the years of the class. He kept pushing me about why they hated each other. So Kevin finally said, "All I will say is that Mr. Gardner's fiance was named Laura, and my wife is named Laura," which is true, but his wife is also named Laura.
Yeah, right.
And the kids ate it up and weren't brave enough to ever go ask Mr. Gardner about it. And the kids still think that we hate each other to this day. And he says, even though we go for drinks and hang out all the time. It's just
outside of
Do they
Like
talk? I wonder
buddies.
if they talk about it like these stupid fucking idiots.
I found this random one on Reddit. It's a short
funny.
one. Same kind of thing. Like, what's the best lie you've convinced somebody?
Okay.
And this person convinced their younger brother that in order for your fortune to come true in your fortune cookie, you had to eat the paper with the cookie.
Oh my God.
He said his brother was just eating paper for
Oh
years.
god! Because a lot of times,
So funny.
like the actual fortune paper.
Yeah, you had
like,
to eat
that's
the fortune
good. I'm
paper
gonna just eat
and
it.
the cookie to make it good.
When I was a kid, I like we would eat Cheez-Its all the time.
Cheeses are delicious.
And I hated the burnt ones because remember, like that's not really a thing anymore. But there used to be a pretty consistent burnt Cheez-Its.
Well, now they make Cheez-Its that are just the burnt
I know.
ones.
Well, I didn't like the burnt ones, and so I would give them to my sister and tell her that they were chocolate Cheez-Its, and then she would
Perfect.
always eat them. And
It's so
now
funny that she believed you because she has the evidence on her tongue
I know
to know that, okay, this doesn't taste like chocolate.
But
This
now
tastes like burning.
she always tells
Yeah.
me, like, now that she's an adult, she's like, I love burnt Cheez-Its now because I would eat them all the time
My
because you make
gosh.
me be like, here,
You ruined
these are
her.
chocolate.
Oh, I got one more. Frankie over at Rex Games. I don't know.
Oh, I
this-
thought you were gonna be like Frankie, your
I
sister.
don't. Yeah, Frankie, your sister says she hates you.
This is Super Bowl Sunday, Frank.
At Rex Games, I don't know. I might need to ask him some more specific stuff. So he said that a band made a song based on his Xbox gamer tag because he is so awesome. But I think I have to figure out what his gamer tag is.
Is it Rex Games? Probably not.
Is that a song? I know. Frank, you're going to have to follow up and let me know.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow up, that means you don't listen to the show.
Is
and
his
we'll have a
gamer
different-
tag like Frankie says relax or something?
Yeah. If you don't
Isn't that
respond, that means you're not
Frankie's
listening, and then we have a different kind of
Yeah,
fight
screw you,
argument.
Frankie.
Yeah.
Unless you're listening. We think you're
love you.
cool. Yeah,
We
you're
love you.
awesome. You're the best. You're the best. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's nook.
Hello, and today on Natalie's Nook. I know it's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have a Nook.
Well, you do.
Yeah. Let me just get into it.
I guess we have Nooks, too.
So basically, on
Yeah,
the
there's
latest
fronts.
episode,
Ours are backs. Yeah, Natalie's front. Stepped inside of Natalie's front.
would you say it's warm in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So on the latest episode of the Gamecasters Adjacent, Ryan talked all about how to teach board games, and I hope a lot of you found it useful. I wanted to take that discussion a step further and talk about engagement and fun at the table and when and how that begins and what drives and cultivates it. Is the teacher the one responsible for this? Should they be acting as a D&D dungeon master to get the ball rolling? Or is it the job of the players after the teach has ended and the actual gameplay has begun? You sit down to play a game at the table and someone teaches it to you and now you know the rules and are ready to go. What are the things, the reasons that you all don't just go through the mechanics of the rule set and play the game with no immersion, no engagement, no fun? Where is this located? Do you have to all be good friends? Do you have to all buy into the theme? What makes a good gaming experience? So,
wow.
When I thought about this...
So that's the question. Let me
Yeah. So
what makes... If only I knew these things in advance. What makes
I know.
a good gaming experience?
So, for me,
That was the
my
question?
first thoughts are assuming that no one is being forced into playing the games. I basically feel like it's the responsibility of every player to get engaged and contribute to the fun and immersion.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Wow.
We're all getting engaged.
The entire reason
engaged?
you're playing a game to begin with is really for fun or entertainment or engagement with your family or friends. So to put it all on someone else to make it fun for you, I don't think is fair.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
It's just kind of like general life too. Like,
Take some fucking responsibility for your goddamn self.
Your time, the amount of fun you have is really up to you. And if you're in there to play this game, then like play it, be into it, get into it. You know what I mean?
I will counter that with you also need to be into it. Like you can't be miserable and expect everyone else to have fun.
Right.
If one person, you're basically saying one person can ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, if Ryan's there teaching and he's like having fun with everything, and then he just sits down and plays the game and is like nothing.
Right.
He can't expect us to then be up, especially with nons. And
Yeah,
like that.
that's
I do
true.
think you need
But
to put
that's
on
what
a little
I mean.
bit of a
I
show.
think it's on the
Yep.
players. It's not on the person who taught the game. It's not on any one person individually. Like everybody should be like, okay, we're gonna have fun playing this game. And I mean, it's easy to say that. I just also want to point out, like everyone has very different personalities and things going on in their lives and feelings and moods at any given time. So obviously you aren't always going to act in the ideal way every single day of your life. So there are some games such as like, so there's just that caveat. There are some games such as The Mind that I think of, which are way more fun with certain groups of people than other groups of people.
One specific group of people.
Yeah. And so like,
I know them.
when I think about that, like, what do you think drives the fun in a game like that? And why is it dependent on the group?
Yeah. Okay. Can I talk for a sec?
for sure.
Just a quick sec. I think that it's a cop out maybe to say that something like this is group dependent. Certainly, one of the things you said in there was like, is it if you're all good friends? That is a big deal to making immersion, excitement, and enjoyment easier. Mm-hmm. It's not the end all be all, of course, because I've played games with people that we don't really know very well, and it's been super fun. As long as it goes back to something kind of Jeff said, it's kind of like the collective mindset of the group, which I think you feel out as you're starting to play. Like, what are we all kind of looking for in this particular game? Like when we're playing something like Decorum, for instance, the three of us, we weren't like having like a ton of fun with the theme necessarily. Like, I'm going to put this lamp in here. And we weren't like all getting involved in that way. We were all the collective idea of us. I think we're just kind of like, okay, let's figure this puzzle out.
Invested
We were
in
equally
winning
engaged
this
in the
game together.
same way.
Yeah.
And I mean, the three of us are really close. So it's easy for us to kind of be on a similar wavelength, because we've played games together, the three of us, where we've just been silly and crazy and goofy at the same kind of table. And so the game kind of calls for it in one moment, the group kind of calls for it in another moment, but I really think a lot of this is being aware of the collective kind of feeling that's at the table. And if you're aware of that, maybe trying to cultivate that on your own, like you said, Natalie, I don't necessarily think it's the teacher that is responsible for the ongoing fun of the game after the teach is over. Certainly, though, I do think that they can kind of set the tone, because they're the ones running the thing to begin with. But if people don't want to have fun, they're not going to have fun.
Yeah.
And so I think it's definitely... I can think back to when I was a part of the game group that Jeff goes to every Monday. We always had a good time. It was always just goofy and light.
Yep.
Even if the game is super heavy, none of us are really taking it that seriously. We're all trying to win extremely hard. We all want to think and win.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we're just goofing around. And that's the time where I have the most fun with our group. And I think Jeff would agree with me there. But at the same time, you know that not all people you're going to play games with are like that.
Right.
So you kind of have to just kind of feel it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's also hard if you're the only one at the table who wants to be up and animated and everyone else is like just dug into the game.
Yeah.
That can kind of suck too.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I really said anything there, but those are just some thoughts that spilled out of my brain.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because my game group on Monday we all play games. We all are happy a lot of times with just playing anything.
Right.
Whether the game itself is good or bad. Like, we played Chimera Station a few weeks ago, and everybody kind of had the same kind of like medium feels, I think, of the game, but it was still like
Didn't ruin your
fun.
mood. Yeah.
Right.
Right,
You just
it was
enjoyed
still
being
fun
together
to,
and
like,
playing a game.
Yeah, so it's like,
experiencing it
and
together.
we've all played enough games where we all win, we all lose, right? That outcome doesn't always matter.
Yeah.
Except Dave and I, the last like 3 months, like all we're doing is competing for third. Dave and I just can't win a game in the last, like, we haven't won anything in so long.
Yeah.
Dave won Mystic Vale because it was only the two of us playing. So that was good on him
Hey,
for
still,
that.
win's a win, baby.
But so, like, we all want to play that game, so we're invested in playing the game. We know a lot of rules. We know that everyone's going to know the rules or ask questions, so we're not going to get bogged down in like, I don't know what to do or how to do. We just play, and then in between that, it's like, it's pretending to be mad at each other and being goofy about it, or singing a song when you place out your workers, or just like the constant inside jokes that we just always have. I like, and not everybody's gonna like this. When I host game night on Mondays once a month, I put the TV on in the background, play New Girl. If we're playing Arnak, I'll put on Indiana Jones, or I'll like do something to just have that background noise in case if the game gets too heavy and we're just kind of sitting there in silence, we can giggle at The Office in the background. I like doing that. I know other people don't, right?
Yeah,
I'm
some people get distracted that way.
Some people get distracted or don't want something else happening in the background, and I just like kind of that extra thing. It just creates a different atmosphere of like, let's laugh because a funny show is on, instead of always focusing about the game.
Well, that leads me to another thought too that I won't interrupt you too long, Jeff, but I think a good rule of thumb or a good way for because you asked how to cultivate this or how to like start it. I think it can take one person. Sometimes especially if you're playing at a group of people who don't really know each other, it can maybe take one person, and a lot of times this could be the rules teacher because again they're the ones who are setting the tone. But it really takes one person to kind of like crack that first joke, or talk about the theme in a way that's role play-y, to kind of get everyone to domino into that line of thinking, oh, that person made a joke, so that maybe that's okay for me to make a joke. Yeah. And then everyone's making jokes, and now all of a sudden there's the atmosphere that you wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that does not necessarily have to fall on the rules teacher, because a lot of people that explain rules might not be comfortable doing that. It might be, like, I want to teach you how to play the game, but I'm a little bit antisocial when it comes to, getting the party started. You know what I mean? So that's why I would be reluctant to say it's definitely on the rules teacher, but I do think it could just take like one person who's a little more outgoing to maybe get the ball rolling with that.
Yeah, and a lot of times with our Monday group, and even just our like friend group playing, that's all of us.
Yeah, right.
So I think our experiences sometimes are not the norm for many other game groups. So if people are playing games with serious, like very serious gamers, or basement dwelling
neck-bearded
fucks who don't go outside ever, and don't know how to like laugh or joke about something, and we can do that. We always play games. This isn't like, oh, this is game night, this is one thing, we need to play a game, we only do it once every whatever. We can have the fun around a game table, not just completely focused on that game table. I think it needs to be fun before the game a lot of times. Like the fun always comes first for me, and you can create your own experience while playing games. Yeah. Other people can bring your mood down. The game can bring your mood down. I get that. But for the most part, you should be creating that fun, kind of like Natalie said at the beginning.
Well, there's like so many different group dynamics that are possible. Like you said, if you're playing with a group of good friends, it's there's a very high chance it's going to be fun because if you're good friends with them, it's for a reason. You have fun together because you know each other, you get each other, you know, you have same sense of humor, like that kind of stuff. You know, if you're playing with maybe like newer friends or nons or something, things could get a little more unknown when you're going into it, how it's going to turn out. But one cool thing about playing with like people like Ryan and Jeff is,
oh boy,
you know, when you guys teach games, you know, you're trying to even just make the teach fun, and that kind of sets a tone where you're like, this isn't so serious. I'm not like, listen to me, you know, and don't talk. Sure. You know, I'm trying to like joke around, make it light, you know, things like that, and that sets.
Don't be scared.
At the end of the day,
don't be
playing
scared.
a fucking game.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
that sets a tone, and it just reminds me of like, I think it was my family. We were playing games one time at a holiday or whatever, and one of my cousins was just like, I want Ryan to be around every time we play games. Like every game night needs a Ryan.
Yeah.
And like that just, you know, and it's probably because she was like, he just makes it so much more fun. You know, like
yeah, they're games.
It's fun if you. It would be fun if you weren't there, but with your type of personality,
It'd be fun
there,
if I wasn't there.
Yeah. She might want you there, but I don't want you there.
Fun if you weren't.
I know you're saying. It'd be fun if you weren't there, but with the type, like your personality type there, it just kind of like amps it up.
Yeah.
You know, and makes everybody feel more comfortable to like be in that silly mood.
Yeah. So I agree. I think it can, if one person even starts it off and breaks that ice, not in a group necessarily setting where, like Jeff talked about, where everybody's that kind of person, but if Jeff's on his own at his school teaching games, I'm sure he's that guy. Yeah. You know, let's get excited for the kids, and then the kids will take it over once they see that's okay from Jeff. Like, oh, you know, Mr. Madigan's acting this way. I guess we can let our guard down a little bit. Now we can have fun.
One example of that is when we play Insider. So when our group plays Insider, we're sitting at a big table. If you don't know Insider, there's a secret person. Everybody's got to close their eyes, and one person opens their eyes and sees something. The way that we do that, and the way you've done it at work night too, is we like make noise, right?
Yeah.
You pound on the table, you make
sing
noise.
songs about
we
sucking
sing
dick.
songs, and we yell curse words and stuff like that. But when I introduced that to my students, we didn't say sucking dick, so like yell that.
Yeah.
But every single student that plays Insider right now at my school flips that card over, everyone close their eyes, and all they do is
drumming on the table.
And all they do is
Make
pound on the
noise,
table to like, and that's fun because
awesome.
It seems like the more they play, the louder it seems to get.
Yeah.
And then everyone like looks over there, but that's something that like,
but again, a cue they took from
a
you.
little thing that we created, and then it's like now they do it.
And the
they do
whole
it.
reason was because you don't. If you're silent, you could hear somebody shuffling
Scooting
around
their
or
chair.
scooting their
Or-
chair, and that gives it away.
Yeah, and
But
even
now it's
things
a fun
like
thing.
when I'm like, all right, because they'll call me over and be like, can you do the eyes closing, eyes opening thing?
Yeah.
So I'll be like, all right, Insider, open your dirty, filthy, lying eyes. Look at it, and then they do that later.
Right,
So
exactly.
it's about it's kind of about leading and then allowing people to sort of feel comfortable.
Yep.
At the
Right,
table.
for sure.
I agree. Good topic, sweetie. Good topic.
Thanks.
For the game of the episode this week, Jeff has prepared something which Natalie and I have no clue about. If it's board game or bullshit, Natalie and I might just set the table on fire in a rage-quitting hysterics. But wouldn't that be good content for you all? So let's find out what we have from the mad board gamer himself. What are we doing today, Jeff?
Okay, you guys are fucked.
Oh, it's board game or bullshit.
Okay, no, it's not. Oh, okay. I'm giving you 2 pieces of paper that you need to keep face down.
Okay.
Okay, can't look at them.
Oh,
yet.
do I need something to write on? Or
No.
something to write with?
No.
Okay.
So that's for you. Keep it
Okay.
face down.
Oh my
This
god.
is exciting.
On this
no.
piece of paper, there's 10 sentences.
Okay.
The other person has to guess this sentence.
Okay.
You're going to be saying the sentence to the person, but I'm going to put one of those mouth guards in your mouth where you can't talk very well.
Yes! Yes!
So let me go get those.
Oh, yes! Oh, that's great.
That's funny.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be good. Okay. So I'm going to say it. Natalie has to guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you each have 10 sentences. These things that you're about to read in your mouth have all been cleaned and sanitized,
There's so
fine.
many of them.
just in case.
Yeah.
And they don't come in like packs of 2.
Right, you got to give them
So-
like packs of 1,000.
All right,
Okay.
so here's yours,
Okay.
How do you even put that in your mouth?
I'll show
we're gonna
you.
Try it.
because I've put a couple in my mouth that I did not bring.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll give you 2 just in case. All right, so they go like, you see the smaller, they go like this. The
Okay.
smaller part goes like, in
My
your
part's
lip.
facing me, so like
Or maybe the bigger side goes in. And then you like put it in your mouth like this,
bigger side goes in. So.
like that. Yeah.
I did it on
Or
the
you can
other.
do it-
Can I
that's
do it
fine.
the other way?
So this is essentially the game. If you've ever played the game like Speak Out, is what it's kind of called. It was famous on like a YouTube channel once.
I had definitely heard of that game.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Okay.
So I have written down 10 sentences that you're going to say to your partner.
Oh boy.
So
I can look at these?
Ryan's going to start, and so hold on one second. So Ryan's going to read a sentence to you with his mouth guard in. And then Natalie, you are going to guess what that sentence is.
How does it work? Does she? How many guesses does she get?
I think that we just work cooperatively.
Okay.
And you just keep saying it until she gets it.
Okay. This is great.
Okay.
This is great.
Natalie, are you ready to guess Ryan's 10 sentences?
Am I going to go all 10 first?
Yeah, I think you should go all. I don't know. What do you think?
Or we can go one at a time. It's up to you.
Yeah, maybe let's go back. Maybe let's go back and forth.
You're the game master.
Okay. Let's go back and forth. All right, Ryan, you're number one.
Here we go. Okay, you ready, Natalie?
Yeah.
This is called Seek Out Our Games.
Yeah.
Here we go. Number one. My favorite game is Terra Mystica and Gaia Project sucks.
My favorite game is Terra Mystica and Gaia Project sucks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're going to be so much better at this than me.
Okay.
All right, Natalie, what's your number one? I think so.
Okay, here we go.
Let me get Natalie's out.
You should get like a picture.
Okay. Castle Hercules.
What? Wait, what? Crap in my property.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Castle Hercules.
Crap! I'm hearing crap in my purple pea.
Oh my god, I can't laugh what that thing is.
Crap in my purple pea. Look at crap in my purple pea. Castles of Burgundy.
I'm not done. Castle Burgundy and the calendar are Gamecasters essential. You got it.
I missed the middle section. I missed the middle section.
Sorry.
One more time. One more time.
And you can like guess throughout if you want. Like if you want to guess and then keep going.
It's Castles of Burgundy and something are Gamecasters essentials. But
Castle of Burgundy and the classic colors. What? Are Gamecasters?
Castles of Burgundy
and classic colors.
What is she saying? I have no idea what you're saying. All right, Castle of Burgundy and Quacks of Quedlinburg. I knew
Are
that.
Gamecasters essential?
Are gay. All right. You ready for number 2?
I'm like sweating.
We gotta get through 10 of
Okay.
these. All right. Natalie's
Natalie.
dying. We're killing Natalie. We're killing Natalie.
No, this is only one in.
Oh my god, this is so great. Oh, delicious. Well, we have to get divorced now. Well, we have to get divorced now.
I feel like my eyes are watering. I'm drooling everywhere.
You're like down on it. You're like,
Well, because I
great.
didn't want you to like read through my paper.
I swear you said something like craps and purple pea. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 2.
Okay.
Okay. I love looting our needles around. I love looting our needles around the game yard. I love looting our needles around the game yard. You have a lot of amazing.
I love.
That's the point.
I love moving my meeples around the game board.
Yeah, good
You
job.
did the first try. Nice.
Well, you read it like 3 times, so I figured it out.
Well, that's true. But it seemed like you had it right away.
All right.
I wasn't sure the meeples.
Oh my god, number.
Okay, here we go.
You have all these like
Yeah.
there.
Okay, ready?
All right.
I make copies.
So now, hot hush and he ho.
Denal Santotos, Revos and Meeple.
So now, and ho ho.
Okay.
Hot hush and he ho.
Janelle and Bobo got us Bandito. Yes.
Let's call him Ho Ho.
I know. What do you guys? What's up? I'm like, you said it ends in anything. Okay, here we go. I love you. Okay. Number 3. I enjoy making jokes about Natalie's wet parts.
You enunciate it so well.
I'm trying my best.
Face hurts.
I enjoy making jokes about Natalie's wet parts.
Well, say it again.
Wet part. I was like, if parts isn't it, first the other.
I mean, I like making jokes about wet parts, although they're not mostly jokes. They're more like, please
This
for help.
next one might be my favorite.
Okay.
Natalie's next one.
All right.
A kuha truha on a hooher.
That's it?
A
Yep.
kuha truha on the hooher.
A kriha on the kriha.
You got it pretty much.
What? Is it flapjack flip out?
Jack Whip. Oh, I should have put that one on there.
Kuha truha
A kruha truha
on the hooher.
on the teacher.
Kuha truha
A kruha frufa
on the hooher.
on the teacher. A krufa frufa.
Natalie doing this is way better than you
I
did.
know. All right.
A kuha truha on the hooher. A kuha truha
A koopa troopa
on the
on the
hooher.
a koopa troopa on the cooter.
On the hooher.
On the hooter. A koopa troopa.
On the can't say that letter.
A koopa
On the
troopa.
hooher.
I'm like crying. I can't take this anymore.
Koopa troopa on the hooher. On the hooher. On the hooher. On the hooter. On the pooter. Pooter. The pooter. A koopa troopa on the pooter. The pooper. The pooper. A koopa troopa on the pooper.
Yeah, Koopa Troopa on the pooper. A Koopa Troopa on the pooper.
How do you say tree? I'm like,
Don't.
I'm like,
A
I can't.
koopa. The first 60 times you said it, I had absolutely no idea what any of the words were. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe that he will actually listen to our show.
I can't believe that people actually listen to our show.
You're getting it so fucking easy. You're so much better than me. I can't do it. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, on the
That's a hard one. I don't know if I would have got that one.
That was really fun. Let me try to say that one.
Okay.
A kula chula on the on the hoo-ha.
On the hooper. That was my favorite.
Hoopa troopa on the poopa.
I love when Ryan talks about my luscious booty.
Okay.
Why is it just the way you say this?
I know.
I love the way Ryan talks about my luscious booty or something like that.
I love when Ryan talks
I love
about
when
my
Ryan talks about my luscious
voluptuous
voluptuous booty.
booty.
Voluptuous booty. Okay.
I love when Ryan talks about my voluptuous booty.
Okay.
I'm trying to like go slow and.
Oh no, this one's good. Okay, here we go. Honey, where is the fruit knife? Honey, Honey, where is the fruit knife?
Honey, where's the poop knife? See, peas are hard.
Yeah.
It's like who? Where's the who?
Where's the who knife? Okay, number 5, 6. No, you're at number 5.
I have prevented Ryan
I have prevented Ryan from
becoming a basement dwelling fuck.
I've prevented Ryan from becoming a basement dwelling fuck. Yeah, that's a good one. You have. I'd have been a neck bearded freak for all right. Oh no. I always choose to play the Her-Ho Wizard. I always choose to play the Her-Ho Wizard. Get it?
I always choose to play the purple wizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan's always the wizard. I think.
Purple
He's the wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always wizard, and you got to play purple.
I was like,
there
it's
for this.
lizard or wizard?
Yeah. I did something else with the lizard. Oh man.
This one's great.
A silent heart in a room with no windows.
A silent but deadly fart in our room with no windows. In a room with no windows.
Yeah.
Can't look at
It's hard. It's hard to look at her. It's hilarious. I'll show you a video. That's why.
Yeah, you'll see. Your eyes are like as open as they've ever been, and so is your mouth. And so it's one part like, ooh, Jeff, go upstairs for a while. And two parts very horrifying. Well, your mouth is open. Okay.
Oh my god. Very horrifying.
1, 2,
You should say it like faster.
Okay.
7.
My worst nightmare is turning into a neck-bearded fuck.
That was like clear as day.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
My worst nightmare is turning into a neck-bearded fuck.
These are the funniest
Okay.
sentences.
Now we got a couple good ones.
Brown paper bag.
That's it.
Wet brown paper bag?
Yeah. That was it? Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Good job.
Okay. Oh my god, there's no fucking way you're going to get it. Here we go. Octavia is a wonderful diet program that the food tastes like crispy Rex.
Octavia is a wonderful diet program, but the food tastes like
Crispy Rex.
like
That's the best part of that.
Crispy Rex.
crispy dicks.
Those crispy dicks. Nope.
Say it again.
Crispy.
Crispy.
What was
Come on,
that?
I'm far Crispy Rex.
Crispy.
You're
Brick?
Yeah!
Yeah, crispy bricks. Yeah.
I'm like, I see you doing it.
Now, these next one might be my favorite. Outside of a Koopa Troopa on the Trooper.
That was funny.
Next one's a good one.
Okay.
Fuck is this?
Lucky go her. Blueberry muffins for breakfast.
Somebody wants blueberry muffins for breakfast.
Lucky go her.
Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg loves blueberry muffins for breakfast.
Yeah, good one. You guys are getting better.
We're learning.
Yeah.
We're the minding this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to reach my rulers.
I need to.
I need to reach my rulers. Gotta reach them.
I gotta what?
I gotta reach my rulers. I need to reach my rulers. Natalie.
Retry.
I need to reach my rulers.
Bleach.
Yeah?
Try.
Rulers.
Bloomer.
Yeah! All together now.
I need to bleach my bloomers.
Yeah, they're getting a little poop stainy. Gotta get them white.
Oh.
This
Okay.
is fantastic.
My shirt has 32 buttons.
My shirt has 32 buttons?
My shirt has
32?
no.
But I said it already. It's my
My
shirt.
shirt has 30.
30?
2.
30.
33.
30.
30. 30 Lou.
buttons.
32. My shirt has 32 buttons. You're saying the same
30 Lou.
We're saying the same thing. My shirt has 32 buttons.
No. My shirt has 30.
All right.
30.
Pretty. My shirt has pretty blue buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hurty.
This is your last one.
All right, this is it. I can't tell which one I do.
They're the same. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You haven't
They
used
stayed
it.
really clean.
Yeah.
Mine has lots of spit on it.
Those are yours now.
I only used one.
Okay. Oh no. Being a ferret hunter is my dream job. Yeah.
Being a
Being a ferret hunter is my dream job. A ferret hunter. A ferret hunter.
ferret.
Hunter.
Ferret farmer?
Yes!
Is my dream job?
Yeah! I didn't know that about you. Okay.
Okay.
Last one.
Last one.
Tommy's favorite cartoon is Woody the Woodpecker.
Is the first word my? Tommy's
Favorite cartoon.
Tommy's favorite cartoon is Woody the Woodpecker.
Yeah.
It is Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Tommy.
That was fucking great.
That was so funny.
Yay.
That-
Good job.
Speak out board games. That was these sentences.
Oh my god.
My favorite game is Terra Mystica and Gaia Project Sucks. Now that's sentence one. First of all, I don't feel that way, but
I know. Well, we talked
that
about
was like that was like really tame.
It was a callback.
And then the second one is I love moving my meeples around the game board. Perfect. And then I enjoy making jokes about Natalie's wet farts. I love the word wet in there. And then I can't believe people actually listen to our show. All true. Honey, where's the poop knife? Honey, where is the poop knife? I always choose to play the Purple Wizard. My worst nightmare is turning into a neck-bearded fox. Optavia is a wonderful diet program, but the food tastes like crispy bricks, Natalie.
Speed dick.
Get your head out of the gutter. I need to bleach my bloomer. And being a ferret farmer is my dream job. That's so great.
Gosh.
That
That very first sentence, I was like,
you couldn't get through it.
I couldn't stop laughing, but
Yeah,
laughing
that's the
with
best.
that
It was
thing
the
on
best.
was like torture. I was like, I don't know. I was like, ah.
Well, who knows
was
how that's
that
going to come across the listeners, but I'm like crying laughing. My
That
face
was
hurts.
hilarious. See, isn't it so much fun when you get to
crying
watch?
laughing.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just
great.
like that was
That was
a
funny.
great
Good-
game.
Good
Very good idea on that, Jeff.
Thanks.
If you are not a member of our Discord server, you really should consider coming over there and getting involved. We really have formed a nice little community of people who are really becoming close-knit, and it's cool to see. One of our most respected members, Kim Rapp, has had an unfortunate go of it recently as her little Canadian town was evacuated due to flooding. And her family's home is still flooded with water. Tons of sadness and scary times for Kim. But if you know her, you know that she has this way of staying positive and cheerful no matter what. And from the catastrophe has come an idea for a top 5. Excuse me. Kim has suggested we give our top 5 games we'd take with us in an emergency situation. So like your house floods or is on fire or something, what do you grab and why? Now we're going to do something a little differently today with this top 5. We're going to each give our entire top 5 in a row. I'll kick it off. We're going to go me, Jeff,
Wow.
Natalie. We're going with you. I kind of think it's fun.
Okay.
Here we go. For me, these are top 5 games you would take with you in a catastrophe situation like your house is flooded or a fire or something. Now, this could have easily devolved into a list of just our favorite games. Here's the top 5 games I want to pick. I didn't go that route. I'm hoping you guys didn't go that route either.
I did not.
Awesome. Natalie, have you? You're looking a
No.
little... Okay, you're fine. Okay, here we go. Number 5 for me. I'm going to go 5-1. Number 5 for me, Happy Salmon. Because I figure we could make the Happy Salmon arm motion and propel us away from the house to safety.
That works, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Number 4, Lisboa. Because Lisbon has been through a massive earthquake and it can teach us how to properly rebuild.
Makes
So I
sense.
grabbed
Also
Lisboa.
makes sense, yeah.
There you go. Number 3, Forgotten Waters to, help us forget about all the water.
Hey, do you remember that water? Nope.
Forgot. I forgot all about it. Number 2, Too Many Bones Loot Crate. We're going to fucking need somewhere to stay while our house gets restored.
Yeah, you can live there. Yeah.
So, plus the game is mostly indestructible, so even if it was a bit wet or burned, it's probably cool.
Yeah.
And number 1 for me is Crokinole, because it can be used as a pretty damn sweet raft.
Hell yeah.
Right? Let's get us float away on our Crokinole board.
Float away. Just
I would cry. I would
roll,
cry though
roll.
because of that Linskiness of it. Jeff, what about you? What's your top 5?
My number 5, I combined the 2 games. Underwater Cities / Quacks of Quedlinburg, because I've spent so much fucking money on those 2
Yep.
games and
Gotta
geek up
bring 'em.
bits and all that kind of stuff, that's probably worth more than anything else.
It's worth dying for.
Go back and get it.
Yep. Go back.
Number 4,
Right.
Atlantis Rising, because it's a game about floods.
That's what you do. You need a
And
thematic game.
The water's rising.
Natalie, you were like paying attention. You were like looking at your own thing, so you didn't laugh at one of mine. And I was like, "Oh man, I really need you here, babe. Come on, help me out."
sorry.
It's all right. What are you gonna do?
Number 3, I'm going to take Pillars of the Earth, because I'm still fucking determined to find that stupid
I know you haven't
expansion
found the
somewhere.
expansion yet. That's
So I'm taking
didn't
that
Stefan Feld
with
design
me.
that?
I'm taking that with me, because the moment that thing gets destroyed in some sort of catastrophe, I will find the expansion somewhere, and then I won't have the
after.
base game.
Right
Totally.
after.
So that's coming with me. My number 2 is another combo. My City / Charterstone, because I haven't finished those legacy games yet. And I'd be doomed if I don't have them. And my number 1 is the same as your number 1, Crokinole,
Hell yeah.
because Devin bought me that board, and it's got
Sentimental
my,
values.
Yeah, Michigan State logo
Yeah.
on it, and it's awesome, and
Right.
then you can float on
Row it to safety.
Yeah.
Exactly.
it. Top 5, that's my 5.
And if you get real hard up, if it's only you surviving, it's got a hole in it. It's not very deep, but
Boy.
You can still use it if you want it in a pinch.
In
Oh my
a
gosh.
pinch.
It might work.
Yep. Ooh.
If you have like a half of a centimeter
square.
chode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What, the square? What if it's a square hole like I said earlier?
That's right. That's what shape it is.
Yeah.
All right, Natalie, what are you going to do? I'm not
All right,
laughing at any of
so that's rude. My number 5 is crokinole.
this. What? That was our number
Whoa.
ones. We all put
My
crokinole
reason
on our
was because
list.
it's a one of a kind board.
That's
Yeah.
why I
You
picked
know,
mine. Yep.
so
Right. Absolutely.
it's not like, oh, I'll just go buy another
Cost a
one.
lot of
Exactly.
money.
Yeah.
Very good one.
Number 4 is Marvel United because I painted all those minis and I'm really proud of them and I don't want them to get
I
destroyed.
thought you'd say that
Point.
one.
I forgot about Marvel.
Yeah.
I have a
United.
minis one on here too. I have
That's a
Cerebria,
really good
'cause I'm
one.
Like, you guys are
yeah,
gonna
we're
change
gonna
that.
hate those. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
And you get like 5,000 games in one.
Right,
in
exactly.
One game.
A million, you get a
Yeah.
million different plays.
Right. And then I picked monikers because if in a case of a disaster, we're going to need some laughs.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it plays a lot of people.
Good one.
It does.
My number 2 is Hadrian's Wall.
Awesome.
1, because we love it. 2, there's a million pieces of paper and I feel like we can play that game over and over and over again and it'll be like endless hours of entertainment.
And you can use the paper as blankets.
Exactly. And if we really need to make a fire,
And then on the back of it,
burn it.
if you need
Yep.
to like write, your feelings because you're
we can journal on it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Does it come with pens and pencils?
No, but I think we have some in the.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
we do have some in the box.
Phew. That'd be embarrassing.
Yeah, we can't grab pencils. We don't have time for
kind of similar, sort of, to Jeff. But my number 1 is mind management. Mind management. 1, because I love the game, but 2, because we'll have plenty of time to go through and open all the envelopes and try all the different stuff there is to offer that we probably won't.
You
have
gotta
time
take
to
your
do
legacy games.
when
Gotta get them.
it's just a regular day. That's it. That's mine.
Beautiful. That was a great top 5, a great episode, I think, overall. What do you guys think?
I agree.
It was a blast.
Yeah,
My
had a
mouth
good time.
hurts from laughing at the two of you.
Oh my
My
god.
mouth hurts from having a giant
different ways.
plastic
Yeah.
thing shoved in
I
there.
know. I feel like I scratched my gums a little bit from laughing. Like,
The dentist is going to be like, who hurt you?
with you? Are you being abused?
Oh my gosh, what's going on? Yeah, blink your left eye if you need me to call the authorities.
That was funny.
That's fantastic. So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody.